As a Z-list celebrity, I get asked to do a lot of stupid shit a lot of times, and sometimes I accept it. The Rock does excel in a lot of things, being Superman, commitment to being Superman. Um,
So this is a video that I've wanted to make for quite a while now, but I kind of wanted to gather my thoughts on the situation before I really went through and made this video. And it's going to be something that people are going to disagree with me on, and that's fine. I'm not necessarily here to convince you to change your opinions on a situation. I am simply here to give you my opinions on a situation. And if you disagree with me, that's why the comment section says, hey, I see it this way. I don't take personal offense to it or anything like that. It's only a conversation. But the video may come off a little bit as, old man yells at the cloud, but I don't think it's that way. I'm not necessarily mad about the ninth generation of consoles. I'm not mad about the PlayStation 5. I'm not mad about the Xbox Series. I'm bored. And I feel like the ninth generation, Nintendo notwithstanding, because they moved to the beat of their own drum, when it comes to the PlayStation 5 and when it comes to the Xbox Series platforms, has been generation boring. And I sat back and wondered, why is this? Why did we get to this point? Because now we're already starting to hear about things like the PlayStation 6 and the new Xbox system. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Did this generation start? Did this generation have a bunch of stuff that people were genuinely excited for? Did I fall asleep? Did I slip into a coma? And just looking back at the 4+ years of the current generation that we have been in, it's been boring. So I want to talk about why in this video. And like I said, feel free to disagree with me in the comment section down below. But I think we have to go back to the start of this generation to see the fundamental problems with it. Because there is a fundamental problem that existed at the start of the generation, and that, of course, was when these consoles released. Now, if you're over the age of 5 years old, you might remember this whole thing called a pandemic that ended up hitting worldwide, and because of that, many people were not able to work in the same capacity that they were able to work previously. The Xbox Series system, the PlayStation 5, and the PlayStation 5 Gaming systems, these came out in the middle of a pandemic. Quantities were somewhat low. Of course, we talked. 15 years ago, I reviewed a video of a guy playing games online. His name was Penguin ZZ. He was a short guy with a funny voice and an unusually large head, but he was good at what he did. So now, a decade and a half later, I'm told he's doing really well for himself. And so I came to check up on him and see how he's been doing.
Years ago, I began this journey on YouTube. Over half my life I've spent making silly shit online. I've loved every second of it. I can only hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. But it's time I step away. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because season 2 is going to be even better. I'm leaving you all in great hands. That's about it. See ya.
I was kind of playing a guessing game when it came to my.
What's up, everybody? It's Greg, and this is a video for the most difficult game I've ever played in my life. It's called Q-Wop. What it is you are an Olympic runner by some incredible feat, but apparently this guy has no bones or cartilage, and you must somehow control this weird ass to
Yes! Woo! Yes! Let's go, buddy. I can't hear you. Tell me now. Oh, yeah, why? Why? I have a question. What's the deal with what's critical? Like he actually left YouTube? Or is it just a joke? Oh, okay, we'll call me back at 3.
Very dry, tight, sensitive.
We were in Orlando, we were hanging out, maybe some people didn't drop in, but I think it's not it's not too bad formal around here. So you'll see some prosecutor popping in randomly. But as now we go around, the people that are here currently, we have Josie Mum.
Yes. Happy to be back.
Yeah, Josie. You did a video on that on Mario, like original Mario.
Yeah, I did. I had so much fun with that video.
I need to watch that. I didn't see it.
It's awesome. I don't want to hype myself up, but I cropped the aspect ratio, so it's like old CRT basically aspect ratio. To stay true to form. Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun with the production of that video, and then it was just like I played that game to oblivion, so it was fun to just talk about again.
You didn't use the work pipe to jump ahead. You actually like beat it all the way through all of it.
You know, I've done that. I think one time, but I didn't do saves. But I've beaten it with the works multiple times, like speedrun style.
Okay. Let's see. We also have OJ returning for this podcast. I haven't had you on in a while for the schedule and stuff, but we're back Saturday night. You only call it for Saturday night? We're back on Saturday night.
It feels like I think it's been months, man. So, we got a Spawncast pre-show. It was fun. There were hundreds of people there. So, yeah, definitely glad to be back. Missed the Spawncast fans. So, yeah, shout out to you. Thanks for having it ahead of time. For those that were saying, yo, OJ, you actually got fired. I thought about doing a video for him. Where I literally, I thought about it. I thought about doing a video where I actually crashed the Lambo, like get some CG or something. But I mean, I decided against it. But yeah, I didn't get fired. I'm here. I didn't get fired yet. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll see what happens.
Well, people have been asking for Saturday nights to come back, and we're back. All right, so people in the chat, hit the like button to show us that you're on board for Saturday nights, and maybe we'll be back to that. We'll see going forward.
Don't like those guys. Come on. How many likes do you at least? How many do you usually get? Or how many do you get?
I like around 1,000.
Okay, so 1,500.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that. 1,500 likes in the middle. There you go.
What do they get?
Saturday.
Do they get anything?
Saturday night next week.
Yeah, my bad. I need a little content thing.
If you like Saturday night,
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. All right, my bad.
so after you super out prices, Saturday night, your basement doesn't flood. So you never catch that.
I'm number one basement.
You're welcome for setting you up for that one.
I grew up on a basement that flooded like 4 times.
I didn't even know basements were a thing. I don't think they existed in California.
California, I
Really?
people in California don't have basements. Like there's not a
Oh
lot.
wow, basements is like one of the greatest thing ever.
And then my friend lives in the Bronx, and she had like a whole separate area over there. It was sick.
Yeah, I've never had a house that's had a basement. Whenever I went, I'm on my second house that I bought now, and whenever I went house shopping, I never saw a house with a basement, not a single house.
Yeah, we've always had good basements in line, obviously in the Northeast. It's one of the best things ever. It's always the same temperature year round. It's like below ground. And the only problem is if it floods, you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know, like, Stealth is basement. I've seen some people that, like, oh, my basement flooded, I lost it. It's like, it seems like that's like a thing, like your basement being flooded. Like, it's like, it happens a lot.
Yeah, you need to come up with some preventative measures. They have like pumps that'll move water out from like the foundation just in case. So if it goes out, then you're kind of in trouble. So you have like a battery backup. You learn this stuff every time it floods. So like my old house where it flooded, eventually got to the point where it never flooded, but it took us getting flooded 3 times before you figured it out.
It's like an RPG, but you build experience.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But man, with the basement, when everything's solid, if it's like 100 degrees outside, doesn't matter. It's like 65 in the basement.
That's cool. Here in California, like, if you want something like that, you gotta, like, build it. Like, you just build, like, an extension. Like, you build an extension, or, like, you get, like, one of those, like, small houses. Like, you have, like, a big backyard and get, like, a small house. So I know people that, like, Paul Gale, does content. He built, like, super cool extension. He lives in LA. He built like, a builder extension to his house. It looks really cool.
Okay, good stuff. So, I had a bunch of topics for tonight. I also had some questions actually over on the Swancast Network that people were leaving as well. And I made that suggestion how I'm going to go through those to like casual gamers. Saturday night's back. Maybe please split this $1.99. Hey, just split it. Casual gamer.
Always split. YouTube.
Oh yeah, you want to get and Sir Brooks says, what is that chance we finally get Gen 1 through 3 Pokemon in SO? I feel like Nintendo has been dropping the ball for way too long. Easiest money grab ever. Well, that, you know what? October 1st. Pokemon Presents. So that is happening
Thursday.
this week Thursday. Yeah. So it's at, well for you guys it's 6 a.m. For me it's 9 a.m. So and it's up on the West Coast people up
That
there.
is that was so clutch that it was 6 a.m. So I got something that I got to do by 8 a.m. So
Oh, so you got to get up early anyway.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah. So it was clutch that it was 6 a.m. for me because I have to be at this place by 8 a.m. So
we kind of already knew it was happening, but now we have some people saying that the Pokemon ZA isn't necessarily the one last thing there. So kind of implying that there is something else that they would show that's a bit larger. Although you're not going to you might surprise people with Pokemon ZA by showing it to them, and be like, "Oh, this looks cool." But we already know what's happening. We've already seen the title card. We're expecting it. But I'm curious, what are you guys' expectations for this Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day, of course, the 27th?
I never had expectations for Pokemon.
No,
No.
man, you just gotta
Pokemon
read
sequel
that.
thing?
You just gotta read the thread underneath the announcement over on Twitter X, and it's craziness. It's like the biggest wish list ever.
Yeah, I never have any expectations because they never meet the expectations because it's for the Pokemon's like almost like a separate thing from Nintendo at times, right? Like the fan base for that, it's like its own separate thing. People that love the card games, like people that love the competitive battling, like it's like a whole separate thing. So there's always gonna be stuff for people that like all of that. And mobile, like the mobile games are super popular. So that's the reason why I don't ever get like super hyped up. It's not like it's gonna be a bunch of Switch games and all that. So yeah, I don't have expectations. But apparently Nintendo America retweeted it and like or quote tweeted it and said, look out for it. And apparently they don't do that. So maybe there is something a little bit more.
Interesting. What do you think, Josie? Got any hopes and dreams?
I have a lot, but I don't think they're gonna be met. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Let's hear it rapid fire. You might hit one.
All right. I think their big thing at the end should not be a big new huge game. I think it should be a spin-off so that they don't kill their resources and release half-baked games like they like to do. I think that game should be Pikachu's Pokemon Card 3. Nobody's gonna agree with me, and I'm gonna get destroyed in your comments, but it's a really damn good. Those two games are my favorite, nostalgic-wise. And the Wii nostalgia is coming back, so it'd be cool to capitalize on it right now. Other than that, maybe like a mystery dungeon game or something kind of smaller. I think to capitalize on the fan base. There also is a lot of rumors that it might be I think an X and Y remake is what people are saying.
I think it's more opium for like when people.
I saw Black and White.
Black remake.
Oh god, Black and White would be so cool. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because the last one was Diamond and Pearl, so the next one up.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, the next one up is Black and White, which that'd be great. Black and White is awesome. It's a very good game. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, would it be like a brilliant Diamond or maybe like that type of remake? So if it's like that, then hold up, not as excited, So
Tell me if they would remake those types of games with like a HD 2D art style and keep them sort of 2D like that, I would die. That'd be my favorite thing of all time.
yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know if they would ever do that, but
I mean, you never know. But yeah, probably not. But that'd be cool. I'd be down for it as well. Down for it. I'm just thinking, hey, the Pokemon Legends ZA. That's all I'm expecting. That's the game that I'm looking forward to. To me, that's the best Pokemon game that on the Switch is Pokemon Legends.
I agree.
So this is the next one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Mega Evolution. That's gonna be cool. Maybe they talk about that more. So yeah.
yeah, there's not really a lot to talk about with that game, I feel like.
Because they said nothing. So
Yeah.
this has never happened in the history of Pokemon. Ever since I've been covering this, they've never announced the game that a year later there's nothing on the game. That's just it's never happened. But I have.
Man, it's been a while. You're right. It's been a minute since they gave us an idea of what it's gonna be, but they didn't really show a whole bunch of the game.
They've always shown some type of gameplay with it, either after the reveal or like a number of months later. But they've never waited a whole calendar year later to show the game, like to show actual gameplay. So that's completely different. That's completely irregular for them.
Yeah, I think. What about NSO release? Anything Switch Online stuff?
They might put some random is a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon for the GBA on.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Because I remember I looked at it, but that's weird because they did a remake.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. All right, I can see them doing stuff like that, maybe like a Hey You Pikachu type vibe or something kind of dumb. There's no way we're getting you make fun.
Everybody wants to make like a small blue wall. Okay. Pokemon
Yeah.
needs to go on there. That would be
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I think that is on the DBO.
That's what we're doing.
Oh, but they don't have the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance, but like we picked either one.
True.
They haven't put I put the trading card game on there, and that was cool. That was a fun little thing to drop on there. But like the pinball, I think is an easy one for them to do. If they did red, blue, or yellow, that would
That would be amazing.
for a money. So, you know,
That would be fantastic.
I would play for like 10 minutes of the top. Never play.
I will tell you this.
I don't think
think
I'm
about it
stream the whole thing.
That'd be that moment where, like, if you were back in the day and you're a kid and you didn't have the ability to get, like, Alakazam or Golem or anything you had to trade for, immediately I'm going into the mode of, like, no, at least playing to, like, trade them and fulfill that childhood dream of having a Gengar.
The Gengar.
Or,
So that was funny. So I didn't have any Gengar, but nobody to trade with.
or you have that poor friend who made restart the game over and over again and trade you all the starter Pokemon.
And nobody would do that for me. I had two Game Boys, and I just did it that way.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But here, technically, if you have the family account, you have 2 Switches, you can do it.
Yeah.
Learn to trade you, so.
I just feel like they're so the Pokemon Company is the most generous, I guess, with their things. So they would probably just rather get a payday and put it on the eShop or something for $10.
I mean, if they did that, they would probably, I mean, honestly, they'd probably be like, it's $20 each, and everyone would be like, all right, fine, we must buy that now.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is like people would buy it. Yeah, absolutely.
They did that on the 3DS, if I'm not correct.
They did.
Yeah, so what did they do? I don't know.
They even have the 3DS special edition system.
Yeah. First, you're current to compare cartridge designs and prices. As many of you guys know, there are quite a few horrible ways to go out on this earth, but this case right here might just be in the top 3 worst ways to die. Now, I know that it's kind of hard to understand what's going on in this video, but the backstory behind it is very disturbing. In it, you can see a diver on the surface of the water swim up to the sky and collect a tool. The video then cuts and shows this same diver underwater in something known as a hyperbaric chamber. Then the guy is working, and 1 second later, the video cuts to black and it's complete darkness. So this is an incident that happened back in 2022, and it's widely referred to as the Pariah diving disaster. We had 5 different divers go down into this hyperbaric chamber to provide some repairs to this oil pipeline when they got sucked in. And the reason that they got sucked into this pipeline in the first place is because of something known as a pressure differential, or delta P. We've talked about delta P before, but basically water is going to move from a high pressure area to a low pressure area. So if you have 2 compartments like the divers did in this case, they were in the high pressure area, they opened up the pipe, which was low pressure, and they got pulled into the water. Of course, though, the divers were not aware of this danger, and as they got pulled deeper and deeper into the darkness, they realized that they probably weren't going to make it out. Only one of the 5 divers, by the name of Christopher Boutram, ended up surviving. For roughly 3 hours in the pitch black darkness, he crawled through that oil pipeline until he got to safety. He then attempted to get some rescue efforts together to go save his other people on the work crew, but this did not happen. Shockingly, the most disturbing part about this case, in my opinion, is the fact that Pariah, the company who owned this pipeline, really did not have a plan after this happened to rescue the guys. And after getting some pushback, Pariah dug themselves into a hole even further and stated that rescuing them would be too dangerous, And they really did not mount any rescue efforts, they just left the guys and men to fend for themselves. As a result, the remaining four divers had a fate worse than pretty much anything I could imagine right now, just sitting in the pitch black oil with broken limbs, starving to death. Really horrible. As of now, as far as I can tell, two people at Pariah did end up getting charged, but I really don't think there's anything that can be done to provide the justice that these guys deserve. And honestly, I think this is a perfect example as to how most corporations nowadays really don't value human life or the people that run their company. All they care about is the bottom line and how much money they make at the end of the day. As always, let me know what you guys think about this. Oh, she's talking mushrooms. Hey guys, so I remember I got fired, and right now I'm hacking. Yeah, I'm just I'm hacking, and hey guys, I got fired, but I'm hacking, and I'm gonna go. I'm killing Washington. I'm removing from right out there. Alright guys, come on, suitcase over here. 5 got to drive to the airport, and I gotta get on the freaking plane to take off at like 9, so I gotta be there pretty early. So Lena really needs to get off the school. Lena, man, you what? Lena. Maybe here. Hold on, what was that? A letter or something? What does that even say? I can't tell. It's too dark in here. Mom and Dad, I'm leaving on a jet plane and I don't know when I'll be back again. What? Okay, you left us a note. You left us a note. I found that on his bed. For the past few years, my favorite side gig. How young is too young to get married? How old is too old to date a teen? My guest today was married at 14 and is now dating a man who's older than her. Take a look. How old are you? 37. And how long ago did you start dating your fiancé? 2 years ago. 3 years ago? Yes. How old was she 3 years ago? 15. Didn't find anything wrong with her? No, I didn't, because he was already married. So, what if she wasn't married? You would find her creepy. Or maybe not. No, not really. No. So, the 34-year-old guy at the time, right? You start dating a 50-year-old. I didn't start dating her from her body. I dated her because I fell in love with her. No, I fell in love with her, and why did you fall in love with her? What did you fall in love with her? Her body. No, it wasn't her body. It was her body. No, what was it? She was sweet and intelligent. She was sweet. Yeah. It wasn't her body. I find a lot of children sweet. Don't we? Sure. Kids. You have joy, joyful, play around on the playground. That's right. And you like dating. No. That's it. No. But you did it. You can't say no. That's right. Are you mistreating her? She talked I ain't did that in a while. But you did put your hands on it at one time. And why was that? Why was that? Yeah, why was that? See, I asked it, I really wanted to answer. Ian stated, you or her? Well, no. She hit me, so I hit her back. But after 3 years, she cheated on me. And what happened? I didn't slap her. I threatened to make her tell me about it. I said, look, are you cheating on me? I said, if you lie to me, I'm going to slap you right now. She started crying. She said, baby, I'm sorry I did it when it done for 3 days. She said, I did it with it 3 times. I'm sorry I won't do it again. That shattered and broke my heart. And I'm still pissed off at her about it because she not just shattered my heart, but shattered mine and her son to break away a family that we once had. So she's going to go out and
Isn't that the dangers of probably dating somebody or being involved in a relationship with a teenage girl when you're a very, I can't say mature, but older man?
Might be
No creepy feelings that you're dating a teenager?
negative.
Negative.
Right. Let's bring up Pam.
First of all, I'm tired of dogs. You mainly disturbing my house every night, fighting, cussing my child. That is my daughter. All you do is cuss her, fight, put down, run out walking.
Don't you do it? life.
Thank you. That's it.
Beautiful.
Nah, I mean, I figured, after what just happened in there, I'm not going to McDonald's. I'm petrified. Man, I don't need to hear my dad's little fucking echo in here. Well, more personal. I mean, oh. It's simple. With Patriot software, you can do your accounting, payroll. I have real pants on. So the key is to keep your hair before you come to work. Yeah, I don't need hair. Are you serving soup today? Yeah. Oh, okay. We don't have any soup today. Okay. I remember last year I actually took my mom here. Hopefully I know 1 year later I'll be working here. But music's nice. It's like very classic. Oh wow. Okay, so basically I want to keep all of the food, enough food up here, so if anything starts running, I'm gonna bring something downstairs. Gotta eat. You can eat food after the people made small fries. Everything over here also has to be kept alright. Coffee machine, ice buckets. So essentially we can actually pressure So what's like the best strategy to reach my hand and then fill up your glass? We always say, excuse me, are you finished with this? Like some more? Can I fill up your glass? Something like that. Do I introduce myself or I just take it? It's always nice to just think about when you go to a restaurant and sit down, someone says, hi, I'm so-and-so kind of taking up with this. Okay. So it never hurts to introduce yourself. So you want to keep anything on the floor that falls down? You want to keep that I want to look like a creeper, like this. Well, you don't mind about the camera, right? The camera, no, I don't mind about the camera. The creeper look, forget that. Okay. I would stick close by to here, look professional. People know that you work here. You have your official color on, you're touching the same thing. Yeah. Look alive, look like you're invested. Yeah, not too alive. This is the public bathroom or the employee bathroom? This is the public bathroom. Okay. Make sure you wash your hands. Alright. Say we need a restock on food. Where do I go for that? You go downstairs. You get your soap in here. So I'm going to go ahead and ask go down to your official thing and refill it for soap. Okay. Come on, I'll show you where your sorry, I don't know. Do you take medication? I do. Maybe sometimes it's popcorn. Is that pretty good? Yes, how you doing? How are you? You're not having any medication?
You just came back.
Okay.
You're gonna have to deal with it. He's worried a lot about you. So that's gonna be a deal.
Ready to brown that.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks just not saying I'll deal with people like in person. Like I live on a camera. Sorry, I didn't even make any introductions. Okay. You're alright.
Occupational therapist,
Just therapist, maybe she'll talk soon.
That's not good. Already a little questionable on the camera. Is it bad? Oh, is it bad? Like Mojo to ask how much I'm getting paid today? I feel like I should know that, right? Yeah. I just need to be really confident. Yeah. All right. Give me something good, man. Give me something to talk me up.
You're really good at talking to people.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing as talking to the camera, right? So,
It's like an actual person that'll talk back.
you can talk to yourself on camera for a good amount of time. So, I'm assuming you can talk to another person for
That's
a good amount
true.
of time.
That's true. That's a good point.
Okay. You okay with everything?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be okay.
All right. Well, you know, if you have any questions, I'm going to come in.
Okay, we're running low on something. I'll come to you.
Yes, you can come to me and I'll tell you exactly what to do. All right. You're going to do this.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for your help today. Really appreciate it.
What? Just be silent. I might even just come silent type of about the It's an art.
Good job, man.
It's an art.
Job one, done.
Can I get that for a minute? Sure. Can we bring this?
Good for asking.
I mean, was there a seatbelt in there? My first station.
The bus pens are in the back, and we'll show you where they are.
Okay. All right, got my first dish here. Do I just hand them off to you? What's that? So you were in there? Okay, there's more dishes? Okay. All right, thank you. And your head? Jesse. You too. All right. Done. I got my first dish. Okay, good. So this is going good so far? All right, so. He looks proud. Got my dad proud and his proud. The tangible boss man, dude. Good stuff. Get ready to go run on us. This is the perch we call it. Keeping on everyone's glasses. I feel like a gun. I'm trying to put myself in the customer's shoes. You know, at what point will I want to refill? Or would I want my plate taken? You know, because sometimes there's those servers that just, they're always nagging you. They're always at your table.
No, that's too much.
Exactly. Like as soon as you take that first plate, how's the dish today, sir?
I don't even know.
Yeah. I don't be that guy. I feel kind of awkward though. It's like watching people eat.
Maybe like if you just come here, stand downstairs and chill for a second.
Yeah, I think just because it's an Easter, it's a special occasion. I think once we actually get going, it'll be make more sense.
Oh, what the heck? It was good. I'm live streaming on YouTube and Twitch. I'm gonna see what's going on here. This is my first time live streaming on like two platforms. This is not the best. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me do something. Okay. Oh, this sucks. I was so excited to freaking set this up. I don't know. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to. There we go. Oh, there we go. Now this is epic. Whoa, it's little YouTube profile picture as well. No way. Hold on. I'm gonna assume like the actual internet quality is first. So we'll figure it out as we go along here. Yeah, this is literally just a test. So if it's bad, like, oh well, bro. Oh well. Oh freaking well.
A payday and put it on the eShop or something for $10.
I mean, if they did that, they would probably. I mean, honestly, they'd probably be like, it's $20 each, and everyone would be like, all right, fine, we wouldn't buy that.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is like people would buy it. Yeah, absolutely.
They did that on the 3DS, if I'm not correct.
They did.
Yeah, so many people did. I don't know.
They had the 3DS special edition system.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I feel like they were 20 inch or not. I feel like they were going to re-rate them because of that, the gambling corner. Because like, and to do some weird rating thing for that, because of the ESRB and in the UK specifically, that it's all serious about it. They got like team ratings or something.
That's crazy.
Let me see. Okay, got him. Let me think. Are we gonna have the next generation Pokemon games here?
God, I don't know.
Next gen.
It's too early. It's too early for that one.
They need to give those games time to cook and like work. I'm gonna.
It would be if they started development on it like right after. But the whole team isn't working on the DLC. I mean, we're looking at about it's only been about 3 years right now. So I don't think it's going to be this year. Usually it's about 3-year gap in between, but I don't think it's going to be this year. I think it's going to be next year. I think it's going to be 2026 that we're going to see them.
Do you think that next generation game is going to be a Switch game that also has compatibility with the Switch 2? Like they're going to try to sell it to the Switch users at home?
I think it's going to be a Switch 1 game that will have an updated for Switch 2. But the Pokemon Company is very like install based.
Right.
Very important. Like they made decisions like, oh well, we're not making a game on the 3DS because the DS has more, So like that, I think it was like 2012, black and white or black and white. So I think it was black and white. Like the 3DS is already out. And people were like, oh yeah, where's the 3DS? And like, no, you get a DS.
But even with like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they put that out, and we were all talking about the Switch at the time.
Yeah. Like they want to install this, so I think that they'll probably do some updates for Switch 2, but it'll definitely be a Switch 1 game in space.
There it is. Any classic collection of Pokemon needs home access. Josh, you're right. You're right. It would actually start to get pretty easy to collect a lot of Pokemon then if we had that. A physical collection. I don't know, Dave. How much do you think a physical collection would be if they put red, blue, yellow all in one card?
You probably get 60. You get 70 for it.
They could get, they could get 70 for
They
that.
absolutely can
And
get
they're just cords.
Yeah. They just put, yeah, they can definitely get, I mean, people pay for it.
HT2 silver and gold. People were mentioning that
Yeah.
too. If they would do like a Let's Go silver and gold.
I mean, I would have wanted to be 70, but I mean, I'd probably buy it. But
I think a lot of people would buy it.
yeah, it's physical. It's like, oh wow, it's actually physical. I don't value the Pokemon digital game.
Yeah, that's true. No, I got it
I have zero value for those, but if the physical copy, that would be interesting.
That's a release that a lot of people would say they're not going to buy it. You know, talk the big game, and then they show it and it has a slip cover and it's over.
Yeah, that was like Pokemon, like the original Pokemon. That's what we're not buying it. Sold 10 million in like 2 days. Like, wait, what? It's not going to like that.
That in particular, the nostalgia would take over, and you keep in your picture without even realizing it. It'd be done.
It's like you're sleepwalking or whatever. You just
Yeah.
You're going to know what you're doing. And you just,
There's no way. Like, imagine the box art for that with like the 3 cover arts right on the front. Oh, it's over. Yeah, it'd be done.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for this.
Welcome back, OJ.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we're going to see it this week, Thursday. There's people still holding out hope for a direct. I don't know what to tell people.
RTT is stressing me out. Like, constantly, he's like, it's going to be tomorrow. You're going to get up early. Then I get up at like, what's
He's messing with
6?
you.
Yeah, you're messing with me.
I get up at 6.
You gotta
I
hold
get
the
up at
line.
6. And then I'm just like, there's literally nothing happening right now.
Hold the line, just like the Xbox guys. Hold the line.
Constantly.
And do you play Fortnite at 6 in the morning?
I go back to sleep until like 12 because I used to go to bed at like 4, so it doesn't work out.
You wake up 2 hours after you get
I know,
done. Like,
that's what I'm
your
saying.
college stuff.
It's bad.
Those who goes to sleep and wakes right back up.
I went down
It's the phone.
I-
She's up 2 seconds later.
Yeah, I check Twitter and then I go, oh, nothing, classic, and then go back to bed. Every time.
Well, RGT's ass is asleep.
Holy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but sometimes he tells me stuff and then it happens, and I'm on the, I don't know.
Yeah, he's got you spaced.
That's what he's doing. He just needs to get a couple right. Then he can basically line you 80% of the time going forward.
It's the cross-up like it's when they jump over your head and you think you're gonna block wrong. No, they hit you in the back of the head. It's a cross-up. Cross-up.
Well, people still hold out hope for a direct this week coming up. I don't know. Maybe you'll get some Twitter announcements. There you go. I don't know why they would do a direct this same week as Pokemon event.
Yeah, it was holding up.
Like strange. But I guess the Kirby Planet Robobot still has to at least be shown somewhere. But that feels like that Twitter announcement where you just wake up and there's Kirby. Okay, fine, next month. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll work. I think most people are just waiting for April 2nd. So they'll be waiting all through March, just hoping something happens.
April 2nd was like super like nerds. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're pretty much hoping. So I mean, we'll see there. I will tell you this though, there is. I guess this is technically strange. And you know what? I will say this: there will at least be one more Nintendo event-ish kind of thing because we do have Mario Day, March 10th, and Nintendo's doing a Switch bundle, which is. I mean, I guess it's a deal for people who don't have one and have wanted one, but I would just wait for the Switch.
That's on this point of Mario Wonder, right? Mario Wonder,
a Switch OLED, and then there's also like 3 months of NSO.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the Mario 10, like the red ones, like the WoW Red Mario system, which I can't find that system after I moved, so I gotta find that. But yeah, I remember I bought that one. I don't know if I'm listening. It's not like a branded system. It's just a regular Switch white OLED. So.
Yep, and it's $350. So they're basically like, hey, we'll throw Mario Wonder in. And that's it, you know. And I mean, I'm trying to figure out the scenario of someone who would buy this, knowing that the Switch 2 is right around the corner. But I guess maybe somebody wants the OLED. And
Somebody who doesn't know Switch 2 is around the corner.
That's all I can think of.
They don't know. They're not going to buy it. Like they're just not going to buy it. Honestly, they just I just want this. Because there's still people buying. There are people that know that Switch 2 is coming, and there are some people that are still buying Switch 1.
Right. I mean, there's going to be people who break their system and they're like, oh, I don't want to wait for the Switch to just buy it now and that kind of thing. Or
I was the Xbox 360. Remember? And people can get ready to death. I'm not waiting.
Yeah, I mean, you had a free warranty. People would usually buy another one, send that one off, and wait for it to come back after a month. So it was, yeah, that was a lot of 360s that sold just to the same person over and over again.
Yeah, I bet you at that store, right? So I bet you guys got like,
Oh, yeah.
a million of those.
Oh, we had red rings stacked up like crazy. At one point, we were buying them by like the pallet, and the systems we were getting red ring systems like $50 a pop, and that's when the 360s were like $300 each. Just you buy 100 of them at a time, and they you figure out what each cost was after the lump sum, and it's crazy. So that's my life. But there was a year of my life was just going into the store and fixing like 8 360s a day and then leaving. That's all I did.
Somebody draw a picture of the job with just 360 stacked up the
Dude, it was
like the whole alone.
Yeah,
We didn't somebody around that picture.
it was 360s all day, every day. That's all it was.
You jumped into it like speeding up. It's like you jumped into like 360 bit.
It was like that. Yeah, it was crazy. You're stacking up in towers of them. Man, it was nuts back then. And people just came in and bought like games on the counter and stuff and downloading them all the time. It's a different time.
Different time.
I still don't like it.
Hey, shout out to France. We gifting 20 small wave memberships. May or may not be Scott Howard.
Yeah, it's good, baby. Good stuff, man.
And Nintendo says, hello there, lovely people.
I wonder what that could be about. That's weird.
I don't know what that's about.
Oh, this is from Fishman. It says, Swan, OJ, and Josie next week back on my show. What are your thoughts on the OLED dock functionality that might carry over to Switch 2? Dock functionality. Oh, I mean, probably a network or Ethernet port. I assume that'll be on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the USB ports and stuff, I think all those inputs are going to be the same as well on the Switch 2, is what people were saying. I don't know if the dock is really good. People are pretty fascinated with the dock. I think it's the same situation in Switch 1, where people thought that the dock was going to be really, really important and interesting, and it kind of wasn't. It was all in like the Switch. I think it's going to be very similar to the Switch 2. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it'd be nice if there was something hidden in there, but I'm not expecting it.
Do you think that they're gonna do something with that top USB? I keep seeing mock-ups of like plug-in screens and shit. It looks really cool.
Everybody has all these visions of what that top USB port's going to be, and I have a feeling Nintendo, like when they were working on this thing in R&D, they may have looked at some of the other devices that are out there now with that, and they're like, oh, you know what? Let's put a top right there so we can charge with the same thing.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it is. Charge it. Well, it's,
Now it would be cool if they said, "Oh no, that's how we're going to do the top screen, and everyone get it. We're going to do 2 DS and 3DS for this thing."
Yeah.
That would be cool. Because in a way, they'd be able to kind of sell you sort of another Switch again in a screen. But I wouldn't know. Although if they released a bracket where you have to buy a whole other Switch to do it, you have to put 2 Switches together.
Oh my god.
that's too
Yeah.
great.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's too great.
I like the idea. I like some of those mock-ups. Like in a perfect setting, and they want to try it, I would buy it absolutely. But I don't know there seems like there's a lot that would go into that. Also, I wonder how much that would cost, like just for the screen, like $150 minimum.
Yeah,
200.
it's like 150 probably.
Herb Dinner says Game Freak should make a Yu-Gi-Oh.
That'd be a crossover.
Brady says need Shuhei Yoshida versus Jim Ryan on the podcast. Check it out.
He was just talking, man. He just let it flow.
He was all over the place. Let's see, we do have update Call of Duty actually. Josie, you play Call of Duty?
Not much. Am I frozen?
Paralyzed by Call of Duty.
No.
Oh, your video is.
My video is frozen.
At least
Just it on the thing less than 2.
it is.
I mean, absolute surprise.
Hold on, I'm shocked. I'll be back in a sec.
That's fine. Good. You play Call of Duty, Josie?
Not too much. I was playing the campaign for a bit, and then I sort of fell off and have started both race again, so not super, but
Well, they did an update, and part of the update was a new level, and it's actually kind of cool because the game now is they have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game. They moved them in. It's like a whole collaboration. So they did a skate park. That was the idea for the new level. Well, in that skate park, which I think is called like Grind Rail, it's Grind something. They're referencing obviously skateboarding. Well, in that level, there is a sign that appears to show March 4th, 25, 3/4/25, and it looks like with the Tony Hawk the game, or first year of the game website, now it's countdown. It seems like we're getting a new Tony Hawk game.
very high.
Yeah, see, I thought about this. Like, I don't know what, because I know OJ, when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 was coming out, do you know the specials from the order?
Whatever I do, I still have them. I'm trying to figure out how to put them in my game that I have here that I'm building.
So, okay, so I was going to say, I remember you bought the whole, like, special edition board and everything. So this is one of those things where I do see a lot of people who are mentioning it, like they're really excited for it. And I think the most recent one, 1 and 2, is the best-selling one. I think it sold like 2 million copies or something, and they said that's the best-selling one in the franchise. So it's funny, I see a lot of excitement, and I'm like, I wonder if it just doesn't seem to add up to the 2 million that I see sold lifetime for that. It feels like it should be more just based on how many people are excited for it. But it seems like 3 and 4, 3 plus 4. Will be the next one, obviously, that makes sense.
I know those are better, I guess, but I don't have the attachment to 3 or 4 as I did 1 and 2.
Yes.
I skated more than 20 years ago. I used to skate hardcore. I used to go and skate and try to get sponsored and all of that. So I was really into it when it first came out. I think the first game came out was in 98.
So the first one came out in, it was 25 years last year. So 99.
99. So I was skating in 99 all the way up until like 2000, like 2005 or something. So I really liked Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I like identified with it, you know. But by 3 and 4, I already kind of stopped, you know, and was doing football and other things. So like I didn't play them like that, you know. So I wouldn't be as hyped for 3 and 4. Not that they're not good, but I just wouldn't be as hyped. The nostalgia just isn't there for 3 and 4. Although I did play 3 a lot, but it's just not there like 1 and 2 was. You know, 2 and 3 it's like one of my favorite games of all time.
2 is huge. When that came out, it was crazy. It was mayhem online. Back then, even way back when, we had the best of forums going crazy.
The forums were lighting up on how to do tricks and oh my gosh, and like all this different type of stuff that you can get, and the secrets. People make fake characters that you can unlock. It was just oh my god, it was great.
Yeah, as far as online, yeah, there were message boards back then too. Oh yes. There were a couple. There were 2. There's that video I did where I went back to like the old days, and that message board goes all the way back to 98. I didn't go that far back, but yeah, people were posting back then on dial-up connections. Some may have been posting on the Dreamcast even, actually.
I used to
Like
run
in '99.
a website called Game Revolution, and they had a little chat room. You could just go there and pop all sorts of smack. It's like Twitter, just like way more better. Like, and we used to go there and say all sorts of stuff there. And, yeah, it was fun. It was new, right? It was different. Oh yeah, compared to how it was. Like, you know, we used to do it right there, so that was real minute.
Yep, game FAQs came around. There were game winners. There were a couple places where people would post. But yeah, that was like the early days that I remember posting about online about video game stuff. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 was a big deal because they got it to like 60 frames on the. I remember on the PS2, it was huge. People were super hyped about it there, and it did look noticeably better, obviously, just on the PS2 at that time. But you're right. I have more attachment to 1 and 2, but this does make a lot of sense to go obviously to 3 and 4, and eventually, I guess, Underground will happen too.
Yeah,
So
Underground American Wasteland or American.
American Wasteland was the big
Yeah,
one.
and there's like more. There's like Underground, right? Like Underground.
There's Underground 1 and 2. That's when they had Phantom Zero coming at one point.
Yeah, that was actually that was the Jackass days. Like back when Jackass was really popular. You know?
They started losing that in the second one, maybe, because they started doing like lawnmowers, and it stopped being kind of a skateboarding game. And it was like an adventure game, I guess, more. It was really weird. I know people do like it. I know they're like Underground 2 is the person's favorite. I get it, but it was funny for what started out as like Guitar Pro Skater 1, where it was pure skateboarding, like that. It got a little out.
You gotta get small blowers, no.
I'm just saying, I was like, I got the new Underground game, and it's like, all right, sorry, you're driving around with the ball, and it's like, okay. Yes, yeah. That was very popular.
Johnny hates small blower. No one put that out. Johnny hates small blower.
The lawnmower hates me anymore.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, there's such a random thing to say.
It was weird. It was strange.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. It's not that funny.
I won't grab my camera for some reason.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
I'll be a voice.
Buys it everything I said.
I'm shocked.
Listen, you have anything to get small blower. You just gotta ask me real quick.
I'm gonna be pretty chill.
Did you play the Tony Hawk games back in the day, Josie? Or even now, technically?
I did. I played the one on the Wii that had the board. And then,
Oh my gosh, that's your introduction to the franchise.
yeah, that thing was.
Oh,
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Wait, I loved it.
I can say that.
For a kid, it'd be good, actually.
I don't know, like, yeah, I just remember loving it.
Was it Shred?
I think so.
What's that?
Go downhill jam.
Oh, there's downhill. There was one with the board. There were two games with the board, right? I remember Shred. Oh man, I kind of feel bad for you because that was like your introduction to the franchise.
Yeah, there was Tony
Well,
Hawk.
you seem to like it.
Oh no, it's downhill jam. That's the one on the Wii, but I don't know if that has the board or not.
Okay, it's Ride and Shred is what Justice. I do remember Shred. That was the second one. Ride, I think, was the first one where Tony Hawk for that went to, I think it was at E3 in one year, and he was really trying to sell this thing. And they figured out that like someone had their dog. It was on YouTube, and they put their dog on the board, and it was doing old tricks just by walking around it. So,
Yeah, sorry. Downhill Jam was just a crappy one that came out like a cross-gen one. Like,
Brogan says it was a racing. It was a racing game.
Yeah, that was what Downhill Jam. That thing sucked, man. I went through all this. Is terrible.
I played one on the PS3. I don't remember what it was, but maybe I remember liking it a lot.
Yeah, I thought that one was pretty good. That was like a more like realistic-ish.
Yeah, I remember just like skating around in kind of an open area and doing those.
Yeah, so it's so when Mega can drop this, I assume what's going to happen. Here's like the order of events. I think on the 4th of March they're going to announce 3 and 4, and I think that was like I don't think that's Hidden Shadows. I think that's a few months out. Maybe that seems like a good summer game. I think June, July game, and I think they put 1 and 2 into I think it was in Game Pass. Like, I don't think it's in Game Pass right now. Am I wrong? I'm gonna check. If it's not in there, they'll drop it. If it isn't there, you should download it. No, either way. But now it's like pick and play, arcade, fun, skateboarding, and they have like objectives in the levels, and you go around and you have to collect skate, so you got to collect all the letters and skate. So anyone in the chat, let me know if it is in Game Pass or not. I don't think it is right now, but I might be wrong. So let me know. But it's if they drop it in there, they're gonna talk about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. That was a shame. It was very bad. It was a very bad game.
I mean, they really kind of lost me. Although I did play Underground. I thought that one was cool. I thought Underground was cool.
Yeah, when they did Underground, the first one, that was good. So you would like make your skater play, and you rose the ranks from starting out, riding around the neighborhood up to your pro skater. That was cool. So yeah, I would recommend that, Josie, if you get a chance to download it. It's not a big game or anything, and it's immediate. There's no story or nothing. You make your character, you pick already made one, and they just throw you into the level and you skate around for a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I really like. I played like I don't know some BMX game really recently, and I loved it. So
yeah, it's going to be similar to that because they had like back then it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater. They had Matt Hoffman Pro BMX, and on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, just one this. They had a demo for Matt Hoffman BMX, and you could do a 2-minute run, and each run's 2 minutes. So that's it. So it's like very cool. Yeah. So yeah, I recommend that one. Give it a shot. If it goes to Game Pass. Could look now, but I would assume that's the announcement. It's going to be in there, and that they would 3 and 4 probably come this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I will get around. What's interesting is it's you know my Iron Galaxy. So I was not expecting that because Vicarious Visions got moved to Blizzard Albany,
I thought they would just kind of blizzard on this thing. But now apparently it's Iron Galaxy who had their own issues recently, but from what I heard, they've been working on this thing for a couple of years. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess they'll talk more about it when they review the thing. I think the Iron Galaxy will work on it. So that's good though for the future of Tony Hawk if they are continuing it. Tony Hawk seems really on board. He posted on his Instagram about it. There was a pro skater that talked about it on the Breakfast Club randomly. Wow, like, I'll do this video game for Tony Hawk. It'll come out later this year. It's like, all right, thanks. We're not supposed to announce that yet, but good to go. Cool. That's how it's been with these skate games. Like, I found out about the new skate game they were going to do from, like, a musical artist, like, months before they announced it. So, the video game world is different for some reason, and no one gets it outside of gaming. They just talk about stuff, so. Let's go over to, you know what, while we're here, let's talk about the Nintendo Gold Points real quick. Awards are ending. Vouchers will work on Switch 2 games. This is big. People were like messaging me as soon as this thing got announced that there would be the Gold Points would no longer be a thing after the end of March. So like just before the Switch 2 announcement, like a week before, they're getting rid of the points. And it's kind of a shame because I have used those many times to just outright pay for games. Mm-hmm. Especially during sales. Like if there's a sale and you see a game randomly that's like $6 for some reason, like 80% off, they just have the Gold Points covered. It is nice. It is nice to have that.
It's super nice. And it even works on like the games that Nintendo gives me.
Oh really?
Yeah, it works on like the review copies. It works on like that. So it's like, yeah, I just got like it was like free, which was pretty cool. So it sucks that it's ending, I'm guessing that they're going to do something for Switch 2 and a lot of people to start buying stuff on there. That's my only guess why. But even if not everyone's going to migrate over to Switch 2 initially, so it sucks that they're not going to have that reward system, forever long you play the Switch 1. Because there's so many people playing Switch 1, even after Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. You're right. That's have to assume that they're doing something else. That just seems random to say, nope, it's gone completely. It's not, oh yeah, this isn't going to work for Switch 2, because they said that for the voucher system. They said the vouchers don't work for Switch 2 games. They could have said that about the rewards program moved on. So it kind of makes you wonder if they have something else planned. I have to imagine that worked well for them to have that gold points just as one little extra incentive. It's like what, 3 or 4% back or something?
Yeah, on a $60 game, I think you got $3. So I think it's a pretty low percentage.
But I mean, that's for people who are like, oh wow, okay, technically the game's $57, and just over the course of the year, you quietly build up this little.
Yeah, if you buy digital games, it definitely adds up for sure.
The physical games, you could register those too, and you get points as well.
Yes.
Just kind of make just an extra thing there. I think it's less just because the logistics of making the cartridge and shipping it's going to cost them more money anyway.
And like sometimes they do extra points for certain games. Like it didn't happen a lot, but there was some games where you get like double points, or you get a pretty good, not a lot, but just sometimes. So yeah.
I kind of feel like this. The other thing what people talk about the Switch 2 a lot as like what's the hardware going to be, where the game's going to be. I still think one of the more interesting parts is going to be the online with your account system. And this does make me wonder if there is a bit more to it with something like the rewards for, I would say achievements, but they have like the platinum points now, points that they're still doing. But all of that maybe tied to your account a bit more, like, because you go to the store, it's a one page, technically it's dressed up really well. That's stuff like that makes me wonder if this is all more towards like the bigger picture of there just being more integration for your account system, the online store. Again, like I would say achievements, but something that they would kind of work into where you get points in this case for buying games or maybe for doing different accomplishments, we'll say in games, stuff like that. Just tie it all together.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do because that web page is lagging. And like how where you go to like unlock or use your points to unlock like different avatars and stuff. If all that stuff was integrated faster and integrated better, plus like those little weird custom achievements that they have, like play this game and do this thing and you unlock this, like if they could tie that all together and make it more, I think that'd probably be pretty cool. But it's just you gotta go to a separate team. Like, you have to go to the Nintendo Switch icon, like you go to the online icon, and then you gotta go from there and then like press the button over and over and do stuff. So I'm hoping to actually integrate that better. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be my hope because it needs help. Like that's the biggest thing I noticed about the Switch is that it's just slow in a lot of menu systems now, and that happened with a lot. Like remember the 360 when it first showed up on the market, super fast. Like the blade system, it was jumping around, no problem. And they get a little more, and eventually get to the end, and it's like, man, this thing is kind of slow to get around.
Well, the Series X is pretty good. Now, I'm just talking about now, it's pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when they updated, and yeah, it was slow compared to the Blades. But the Blades was so simple, you know,
Like
yeah, and I liked it. I did not hate it. I thought it was cool. I thought it worked well for what it was, you know, at that time.
Yeah, I think Nintendo in general, with a lot of the stuff they're going to implement in the system, I have to imagine just the OS itself is going to be much faster. And that's funny because technically it's fast now, but just when you go to the NSO icon, for example, it'll jump right to the page. It won't be, okay, hold on, we're going to load, black screen. Okay, now it's back. Hold on, there's something spinning. Got to wait a little longer. It's kind of like when we went from the PS3 to the PS4 and they had the storefront more integrated and it was a bit faster to jump around. I went to the PS3 somewhat recently, like a month ago, and explored a bit. It's pretty slow.
But like, I remember the PS3 just being terrible. I remember going through it and being, because I didn't do online, like we use like an app. We didn't have apps. I don't know what it was, apps we went from. That's what I do with the Switch. I don't even go on my Switch anymore because it's bad. So with the PS3, we didn't have that, so you have to go there and like type things, and I just remember it being really slow from what I remember when I was buying games off the PS3. So,
yeah, that's one of the big things I like seeing improve quality of life is just navigation of the online, and maybe then that would allow them to implement. I know people want neighbors back or some kind of community thing so much.
C button. The C
That's
button.
it. Community.
The C button. It's going to be
Community.
something. Chat. Community. Seeders instead of neighbors. Community leaders.
It does feel like Nintendo's missing a little bit of that right now, like the communities. I mean, you know, the Splatoon as an example, that is very connected with the lobby and drawing stuff, and I don't know, something like that would be kind of fun for Nintendo to do. But I kind of wonder if they're just a bit concerned with all that stuff.
They're probably concerned.
And we go over to, let me see if I had some of the super chats here that I may have missed. Let me just make sure I got everything. Here we go. Darth says, "What's up, everyone? Were you a fan of Halo Wars?" At first, I wasn't as much of a fan, but then I ended up becoming a fan because when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's not the Halo game. I didn't think it was going to be this. An RTS with a controller, a little weird. I will say that, but I got used to it a bit. It grew on me some, so still not my favorite Halo game, not by far. I respect it. I'll say that. Yo, Jay, great to. This is from Massive Lincoln says. Yo, Jay, great to see you on the show, brother. Live is where it's at. Spawn got a video with the PS5. One beep of death fix. We need one. I'll fix for a friend. One beep of death. Yeah, doesn't sound good. Like you press it once and it just shuts right off immediately. If that's the case, that seems to be like general hardware failure, and I saw that with one that was shorting out at one point, and it cleaned the board really well because some liquid metal got out. That was when I was technically back together, so didn't open it up. It's hard to say. Mike says, when are you guys going to invite Jeffrey back to the podcast?
Hey, you didn't read his name, bro.
That's funny.
Where did you read his name?
I read Mike. That's his whole name right there.
His last name is Hawk.
Oh, I don't know. That's a lot of reading right there. Already going to Mike. Yeah. Get that back on. That was fun. It's on that stuff. Something more with that. Bumstar says every time I open Exxon, that was some crazy Xbox podcast where they hold the line. This point you see group therapy. Oh man,
they're done with all the line's a joke. At this point, they're done with holding the line. It's still fun though. It's fun.
All right, let's go over to Valve. This is a good one. The Valve is out now, and it is quite the topic online.
I see.
People are fighting over this game quite a bit, which is very interesting to me because I've played about 7 hours of it now. I spent a little bit of time with
It's
it.
so weird the fighting that's going on about this game. Are we talking about the whole thing, or are we just talking about just the gameplay thing? Like normal people or the crazy people? Which one are we?
I mean, it's pretty much whatever, anything really. Because at this point, it's hard to ignore it. Whenever I see it in the timeline, people are rarely talking about the game itself. They're talking about like all the things around it. And when they do talk about the game, it's mostly discussing what it necessarily wasn't trying to be, which is really funny. It gets a lot of comparisons to Skyrim. I've noticed that, even though they say they weren't trying to make a Skyrim, that wasn't their plan. And I don't think that's. I look at what Obsidian's doing right now, and I don't think they're going for the hey, let's make one game every 7 years kind of mentality. They released Avowed just now. They're releasing Outer Worlds 2 I assume towards the end of this year. So they'll have 2 big releases in 1 year. That's already a big deal for most studios. I think they have 250 people, I think, staffed up right now. Is where they are. And they're constantly they're doing updates for Grounded. Like they do a lot right now. And if they get Outer Worlds 2 out by the end of this year, they'll release 5 games in 6 years. Man, that seems pretty good for what Microsoft was looking for, which is supposed to be for quantity for Game Pass. Sure.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for right now. So Obsidian does fit into what their plan, their strategy is currently. So when I was looking at Avowed this whole time, I was kind of thinking, okay, that I don't think they're making something with the scope of Oblivion or Skyrim, and that's kind of what I'm getting here. So as I'm playing through it, it's a very streamlined and more, I'd say, arcadey feeling Skyrim or Oblivion. So it's not an open world; it's what they call that open zone, where you have areas that you basically will teleport to or travel to, and then you get there, and it's a very predefined amount of space you can wander around in. But it's smaller, so it's more condensed. So it is kind of that mentality of, do I want the big sprawling open world with large patches of nothing, or do I want smaller area with stuff maybe every 10 feet? That's kind of what this feels like. You turn around a corner and there's something going on. So I haven't necessarily felt bored exploring, and that's sort of what I've been doing. I'm in the first area still, and I'm just kind of wandering around finding stuff right now, and it's been pretty good in that sense. The combat is better than Oblivion, Skyrim, anything like that. It's very good. So you have even dual wield basically. If you want a spell book in one hand, and I have a dagger that's on fire in the other. I just wander around and shoot. It lights them on fire, and it works well. The spell book, you look at it, and you get a whole range of spells: ice, fire, lightning, and that's pretty straightforward. You can dodge, you can sneak. You cannot steal stuff in the game, so that's become a whole thing. And from what I've noticed, and I noticed pretty quick, and other people do too, the NPCs don't really move. They're kind of stuck where they are in place. And I guess the idea is that they didn't want to go down the route of let's have NPCs that have kind of their time of day rituals and their own timelines where they wander around, they'll go to work and all this stuff. It is a very static environment that you exist in and explore.
I mean, and I think the problem is just because it seems like people were expecting, even though they never said it was going to be that, people were expecting the Skyrim type of thing, but
it looks like it should be that. That's
but if you play JRPGs, that is literally every bit of JRPGs. They don't, like, some JRPGs will have it when they have their routine and do more like Skyrim, but most, like, metaphor is awesome, right? And it's just, people just stand right there. They might walk, and one lady just walks around the kitchen, like, in a circle. And she only was circle with no people. She just,
right.
Yeah, she just walks around in the first big area. She just, in the tavern, she just walks around in a circle in the kitchen. She's not even certain. She's not doing her job. But yeah, I mean, like, I looked at this and I thought that the controversy was kind of silly. I guess maybe because the game is 70. Is that why people are kind of like up to, like, if you buy it, it's Game Pass, but if you buy it, it's 70. Is that why people are kind of upset, maybe?
I guess I would say it is an above average game. People are saying it's like the worst game they've ever played or something. It is the worst game. It's kind of good. People are saying it's terrible, and I'm like, I don't see that. It's pretty good. Like, I'm playing it, I'm having fun with it. I will say this: the dialogue, the characters, I just don't really care much about the characters that I'm interacting with. So there is that. Okay, but I'm not the biggest immersive sim person. So I do kind of appreciate a lot of the quality of life or fast track moments. For example, you do have I have a gun as well, like a big rifle. And when you fire it, you don't have bullets. It's just wait for your stamina to charge back up. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that means I don't have to go look for ammo all the time. And what might turn into kind of a survival situation. I don't have ammo. Yeah. So in that mind, I'm like, okay, that just kind of keeps things moving, consistently. So that kind of stuff I don't mind. In fact, at times I prefer it. Whereas when I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I do recognize is a very good game, but I also understand it's not really one that I'm as into because it's not lining up with what I want because there's so much stuff you have to account for.
Yeah.
For me, when I'm playing a game and my character starts getting hungry, it's like, okay, maybe this isn't my game. Like I already got to worry about that in real life.
I'm not a fan of the hunger. I like the Hunger Games, but I'm not a fan of the hunger, the games and all that. So yeah, I agree. I've never been a huge fan of having to like eat or like sleep or kind of. I mean, unless it's like relative to like a certain aspect, like it's like control. But if it's like all the time, like who's always hungry and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really on that, But yeah, like from what I saw some pretty cool stuff. There's like this one guy, this Xbox dude on Twitter. He's like constantly finding out like different things. Like you can like make like an ice spell and like walk across like water and make like an ice spell. Like, you can like walk on the water, like different things like that. So I guess like there's some cool like creative things you can do with the combat with the spells and stuff.
Yeah, so there's interaction with different elements. Lightning, for example, you can throw in the water and it will just shock everyone who's standing in that pool of water. Fire, people will light on fire, but it doesn't have. People were noticing that there wasn't as much effect, say, on the environment around you. Like if you set things on fire, it won't actually spread. So I understand that aspect when I see people mention, hey, it's missing elements that I remember from this game from 15 years ago or something. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But they're clearly, this is that situation that I kind of think of with Insomniac at times, where they understand that there is a limit to the scope that they have internally because they have to be on to their next game to make. And it's like, we can keep this thing in development for another 4 years and do all that stuff, but that ends up being an 8-year project. It's like, how much money and time are we pouring into this thing? Kind of thing, Yeah.
No, I think if the game came out, if it was cheaper, I think people would probably chill out a little bit more.
I thought about that a bit. Yeah, like that's a $50 game. Maybe that was
like a 50 because you're comparing it to Skyrim, and like the problem is that compared to Skyrim was like this crazy game. You know what I'm saying? Like Skyrim, they thought of everything, and it took them. How many? That was like a big 6. Well, what game came out in what? In 2000?
That was the year after 360. It's like 2006. Like,
yeah,
it's like I remember a lot of these.
2011.
Yeah, we're still waiting for 6.
Yeah, so think about it. This is the 360 days. We got, or the 360 history days. We got 3 Uncharted games in like a span of like 5 years or something like that. So back then you could get games. Like we got games. We got Mass Effect 1 through 3 from 2007 to 2012. Like that never happened in today's day. So Skyrim had a development period that was really long. Like if you see today's day, Skyrim had that back in the 360 days. So like they put so much into that. And I understand like I get it, like the technology, but I'm not trying to say it's acceptable. But I'm just saying like Skyrim like a whole different piece. It's like what they did with that game. It's just like a completely different thing. And right, it's gonna be like Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of games aren't gonna put that type of effects and physics and all that type of stuff into the games. That just with today's graphics, that takes a long time. That takes forever to do stuff like that. But I get it. I get why people are upset with certain things, or maybe they expect it. I really get that.
Jordan, you want to jump in?
Whoa, Jordan! What? Whoa! I think to get back to be here. Let's go. Jordan. Something.
Let me drop you. Jordan.
I just ran around my house like a maniac to reset the router.
I reset the router, I pulled out the fiber cable, put it back in, and then it went.
Wow.
Are you at school right now?
Well, I'm in school, but I'm like at the place that I kind of live at. But like,
yeah, you explained that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I seem to fix it.
We have really good Wi-Fi when it works. It's just like the most inconsistent thing in the world.
When it works, it's good. It's like the like in Nigeria when I go there. When it works, it's really good. But a lot of the times it doesn't work. So we just cut out.
So I will say with the Valve, something that is very good. I just saw someone mention in the chat as well. I was about to mention it. Is the traversal with the parkour is pretty good. Like vaulting over stuff, you don't really have too many limitations with climbing. So if you jump at something that has even kind of a ledge, you're careful to pull yourself up. And so getting around is much better than Skyrim and Oblivion and those kind of comparisons. Yes. So that's probably the strongest part to me about it is most like just exploring the world,
The game,
looking around, finding stuff.
the game, like the combat and even how it looks kind of better. Like just like the visceral feel of it from what I've seen. I haven't played it yet. But
Yes, it does. Oh, look, Jordan Flames is here.
that's what it is, my man.
He's getting back at videos here. Okay, that's fine. And the visually speaking, it also looks good. And I have on a Series X, and it runs at performance 60 frames per second, but it looks good. Like it's Unreal Engine 5 as well, so it's not one that looks all blurry or vastly obscured. That's common for some of these UE5 games. So I think all things considered, for what I was expecting out of it, it's about right. It's not. Oh, whoa!
Oh, I didn't want to.
Oh, there he is.
What's up, Jordan?
What's going on there?
How much of Valve did you play?
I downloaded it.
Sorry, I have not downloaded it.
Yeah, I have like Infamous 2 to replay.
Infamous 2? You fired the PS3 up for that?
No, I was doing streaming it from the service. We're trying that out, see how.
Okay. How'd that go?
Seems really good, though, so I don't blame you.
It was working out well. It was playing good, so it was nice time playing that, and that has my interest about currently. So,
It's back.
Yeah, I would say Valve being on Game Pass does help for most people, of course. And hey, I'll be playing through. Apparently, it's like a 30-hour game, so 7 hours or so. I'm working through it. So apparently, the other area is pretty good too. Sean's in like the third area right now. He's like rolling through this game. So I wanted to see what his thoughts were on it, wherever he is out there.
He took the first like 20 minutes of Game and Talk to talk about it the other day, actually. So
I had a whole slot open right here for him to talk about it. So he's like, I talked about it for a good chunk of Game and Talk. All right, you know what? I'll have a Val and it'll be there. It's like, cool. Now he's gone. So we may have to check on him. Nick's lost by like 40 points yesterday. We got to make sure it's all right.
Did you check on was there raisins involved? Make sure there's no raisins involved with this guy.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. Here we go. Okay, good. Gene, I got you.
wow, what a squad tonight!
Shout out to Gene. Gene coming through, man. I think Gene. You know what it is? I think people do actually want to talk about Valve quite a bit because it is such like a contentious topic right now online.
About I saw videos from people who really
You got
got
Gene that said, you know, like,
on the screen that said it flopped and its sales are bad. That's what I saw.
Those people are usually really highly educated as well.
They are.
Traditionally,
I think about
college repellent for a lot of this.
high school repellent for
High
some of them.
I mean, yeah, for Valve sales, I hold off for a while because I think that's gonna be an Outer Worlds situation where like Outer Worlds had 5 million copies sold, and it took a little while, but I think that could be the same situation for Valve where after like 3 or 4 years, like, hey, we sold 5 million copies, something like that. So.
I just didn't like the fake physical. It's gonna be like, all right,
Oh yeah, I mean that's just. I hate to say it, that's just. I don't think there's a disk drive in the next system.
I just didn't like that. I probably would have copped it if there was a real physical. So I was, oh, there's a physical photo that's coded in the box. I'm like, hey, okay.
I think.
So I was like, yeah, because I buy like the Skyrim and stuff like that. Like I bought like every version of Skyrim. I bought like what was it, Oblivion? Like I bought all that crap, So
Gene's on the way. He's on the way. How you been doing, Jordan?
I've been good. Good. How's everyone been doing?
good.
Right.
That's good. You dealing with the whole Pokemon TCG thing right now? I saw people fighting in Costco over it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I feel like this happens. Always on the cusp of anniversaries. Like every 5 years, this stuff kind of happens. And next year's the 30th anniversary, and the sets are just getting a lot more exciting with the artworks on the cards, and it just drives up a crazy market. And obviously, right now, it's the biggest spin when people know about the TCG. It gets publicized more. Just if anything new, it's just louder, and it's annoying. It's definitely pushes you away from wanting to even collect if you collect or play or anything. But it is what it is with the game. You can't really do much about it until it slows back down.
Okay. Yeah, we were doing Quick Card 3, and Ryan was trying to buy these Magic the Gathering cross Final Fantasy cards.
Oh, jeez.
It's like
I
great.
saw that. They're so pricey.
Yeah, he sent me a link for the Amazon ones he was buying. I was like, my gosh, dude, these are crazy. They're like $20 on like a pack or something. It was something crazy. Gene's here. Gene, what's up?
Oh, we got a full squad now. Let's go.
Hey, there.
We got a basketball team right here. We got a 5-on-5.
You do. What's up, OJ?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Happy Xenoblade Chronicles X launch soon, I guess. It's a month away. I already have the name. It's crazy.
I'm playing. 2 bumps can wait a month,
I'm like the only person celebrating Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Don't worry, G. I won't use any of your footage. Don't worry.
That's unethical, OJ. How dare you? I'm going to talk down to you, OJ. I'm going to condescend to you. Dude,
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's talk about it, man.
Don't let these people talk down to you, man. The people in the games media, man, for some reason, they think they're uppity. They think they're some kind of different class of people,
Sorry, good man.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate that.
Gene, how you doing over there with the Val?
We could finish the Val. I'm actually playing my second run, actually. So,
Oh, you're up for it again.
going through it again, on top of balancing for Xenoblade Chronicles, finishing Pyro Yakuza, playing Monster Hunter Wilds as well. So it's a busy time. I'm probably not going to be able to finish Monster Hunter at some point. So.
Yeah, I assume that game is massive.
Of course, Wilds. It's another 500-hour game. And here comes Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is also 500 hours. So
Yeah.
pretty.
Well, the nice thing is, Avowed is not that long.
Avowed is short. I beat it in 30 hours, and it's a very short game.
That's
Well, you guys want to know, like, you're playing it now, right? So,
I played about 7 hours of it, yeah. So I'm still in the first area wandering around looking at
you're
stuff.
still in the good part. That's probably
The good part.
yeah. The first area is definitely the best part. They definitely put their best foot forward when they were designing this game, because the second area I don't like. But it had like a decent story, and I think the story just falls off the map like it by area 3 and 4, basically.
Well, like the opening, they said in the summary, like the opening story, how they kind of introduced it is that there's like a plague that affects souls. Yeah, that's why people are growing like mushrooms and stuff out of their head, and they go crazy, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, it's a dream scourge. It's the fantasy version of the Last of Us, whatever,
Right.
whatever that was. Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're using to sort of pull you through, like, hey, figure it out. And there are a few other things that have happened so far where I'm in like investigation, for example, as you go around. So it seems pretty basic. I don't know on the base level here. Does it actually get to a point where it just completely dissolves and falls apart though?
It just stays kind of basic. It just doesn't get that much more interesting, right?
Okay.
And then my biggest problem, and I mentioned this in my review, but check it out. I give it 3 out of 4 stars. So I give it a solid 75%, 7.5, lower than the Metacritic score, which I was surprised was higher. I thought this was a solid 7 out of 10 game for sure. But my issue was that as the story goes on, and it continues to stay very simple, but you're amassing these characters. You get this cast of characters, right?
Right. I have 2 of them so far.
Yeah, so you have Garrus Fishman, and you have now Marius, Warfare. You like Marius?
Yeah. I've had him for like a little bit now. Because once I got him and you're doing the investigation, I just wandered off. And I'm like, okay, let's go look over here now.
I hate that character. He's
Really?
a character. Yeah, so that's the issue. Like all the other characters, they have like no real attachment to the main story, and they literally say, "Well, I got nothing else going on. I might as well just hang out with you." That's what Marius does.
Okay.
Marius literally says, like, well, I got nothing else to do. They
I'll just come with you.
literally say, "I got nothing else to do, so I might as well hang out and be in this video game with you." You know?
Right.
So
Yeah, I will say that a lot of that, like dialogue and characters, haven't really grabbed me much.
it gets kind of worse later. Because here's the thing, like there are decisions, and they're not very binary. They're not like Renegade or Paragon or whatever. So anyone looking for that kind of experience, like that died in like 2010. The RPG makers aren't interested in doing like a Sith and Jedi routing war. But the choices here do kind of matter, and then they don't. I won't spoil anything, but you can do something, can be fucked up to your party members, So I did make a decision that my party member was like, if you fucking do that, you're going to be doing this or that, and this means that. Like they signal very strongly that they're going to be super mad at you. And I was like, well, I'm just push the button then, right? And then I push the button, and then the crazy thing happens, and then at the party camp later, feature later, the party camp, right? Have you talked about party camp yet?
Oh, I've done that. No, where you can basically teleport or open up a camp, and you can have your companions there and talk to them individually. Or
exactly. So this game has a party camp feature where there are save points around the world that you can camp out, and that's it'll create like a camping atmosphere. It'll go to midnight, and then you can upgrade your gear. You can go into your inventory box. And then this is also when you talk to your party members. This is like when this is when the camaraderie of the party is actually like written. Like there's a lot of writing, but most of the inter-party camaraderie is happening during party camp. And so after I do this really fucked up thing to one of my characters, we go into party camp, and he's like, I can't believe you did that. Did that. And then like 2 lines later, it's like, anyways, what are you doing later? You want to eat something? Like they forget. Like this crazy thing that I just did to them and like everyone they love, and then they're later like, oh well, what do you do later? Want to hang out? Sometimes when you're hungry, so you're hungry. These guys are really ride or die, even though they just met a few hours ago, and they're just tagging along because they have no real connection to the story at all.
That really just sounds like we're regressing in terms of like what can be done in storytelling in video games and how to develop characters, and that's kind of sad to see. And that kind of does turn me away from wanting to even like I downloaded it, but I don't want to start it now.
Well, it's easy to be negative about because it is missing a lot, and I think for me, the writing really missed about. That was really what I focused on in my review. The things like people forgetting where you are. So many of your party members are mostly expedition dubs. So like, there's nothing really going on with the party. There's no ongoing story with them. There's no character arcs. There's no like quote unquote loyalty missions that you can finish in this game where you do side quests with your cast members. No, there's none of that here. It doesn't happen. What instead you have is nothing. It's just kind of conversation you have.
I thought there was something coming, and it was like, I got nothing.
There's kind of nothing. You have a lot of conversations, and you kind of get to know them, and then like all they do is they're getting spotted so much. Kai is there to tell you about his people and like what different conflicts they have, and then that so they're basically like regurgitating Pillars of Eternity war at you. So the third character is going to talk all about necromancy, and then it's like, and then once you're like, I already know what necromancy is. I don't need to like understand like the different layers of bringing people back from the dead and making them alive again.
I've got 2 questions, Chief. Yeah, 2 questions. One, what do you think about lawnmowers? And 2, are there lawnmowers in this game?
Look, I don't understand the reference.
It literally just happened today. I don't even know. I'm a little confused.
Because we talked about Tony Hawk, and I said Underground 2. I thought I was getting a skateboarding game, and like they have you in programs and getting randomly. They started racing lawnmowers at the time.
I'm sorry, Gene, go ahead.
Well, this game does not have a reactive grass, which a lot of people are mad about. So that's the discourse around the VOD right now. I see all over YouTube now that I'm hanging out on YouTube and I'm looking up VOD videos. All over YouTube, and of course they're being put on Twitter or X or whatever, that they're showing differences between Skyrim where you can like knock everything down off the table versus the Valve where you can't do any of that shit, you know? There are reactive NPCs in Skyrim where you torch somebody, they'll lay help, and then the guards will get after you, just like Skyrim has always done, right? Yeah. Whereas in Valve, you can just go into a town and just like cast all kinds of spells and nobody's reacting to anything, nobody's doing anything, nobody's even really moving. Most of the NPCs don't move. There are background NPCs that walk around, but they're not characters. They're just flavor text they're just flavor in the background for making the city look more populated, but they really don't do anything. All the major NPCs, they're stapled to the ground because this game used to be a cooperative Borderlands-like game where you just get quest givers. And of course, the quest givers in an MMO or like a Borderlands or Destiny type game, they don't go anywhere because you need to know where the fuck they are so you can get the collecting quests and you can go off and do your ability. But this game doesn't have that, and everyone just kind of stays on the floor.
Can you date in this game?
You know, there's no dating, no romance.
Just
I
throwing it out.
I won't be buying that at all.
Zero romance whatsoever.
What is the point?
You know, you get a character later called Yasli or whatever, and she talks about sex all the time. She is like one of those millennials that's always just talking about sex. Like, oh my god, I got slayed last night. It was so good. Like that's just how millennials talk, right?
They did back in the day, like
Millennials, I don't know.
times like I got slayed. Is that what it was for me to hold back then?
They slayed the boots down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slayed the
They've been
back.
slayed.
I don't know if that's what, maybe that's what millennials say.
Yes, I know Josie's is humor. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking to judge us millennials, basically. We can be pretty cringe. So yeah, she's actually a cool character. She's a cool character, but she doesn't do anything in the story. She's literally there to like explain like other forms of magic to you, and that's it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say that the thing that I would figure would carry this game even a little bit would be the gameplay and the exploration. That's mostly what I've seen.
I like the gameplay. The combat is fun. The combat reminds me of Dead Island.
Oh, okay.
It's an interesting comparison. I guess because of the first person
melee at least. Yes.
Yeah.
At least
you know,
melee. How it actually feels. Like it feels that heavy. Like and Dead Island felt very, very heavy and very cool. So
I've been using like a rifle, so I'm like standing back and I try to hide. And I was playing as a scout.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with the big old like blunderbuss rifle, it takes them out one shot for a lot of them. But I went around doing the different bounties, and that was fine. But although most of the bounties I did, they did feel pretty much the same for a lot of them.
It's just a Borderlands quest, right?
Yeah, it was, right? Yeah, you have a health bar that pops up that's bigger than most of the enemies you're fighting. You whittle it down, you take the trophy back, you get some gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see where there was going to be a cooperative multiplayer game, which this game was rebooted twice. There was a Bloomberg article about it. About 80 people worked on it. Rebooted twice. It took about 6 years to get it done. But the second reboot happened after 2 years or so. I guess it took 4 years from start to finish with 80 people to do this game.
You know,
which that tells me the budget wasn't like through the roof high or anything.
No, definitely not. The way I look at this game, the more I played it, because when I first played it, I was really interested. I loved for 7 to 10 hours to play regularly at houses.
Oh, I'm still waiting. Okay, yeah.
I was in love with this game. I was like, oh man, the world. I'm learning so much about the lore. Like this, what an interesting lore to the Turning franchise. So after like 7 hours or 10 hours into the first world, I hopped off and I went on Wikipedia's and I watched Mortismo Gaming, a really good creator. Shout out to him. I think it was his video, but he did a lore explainer, what you need to know for about Pillars of Eternity. He caught me up in everything, including what happened at the endings of Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. And then once I learned all that stuff and I went back to the game, I was like, oh, the game is kind of explaining what I just heard on YouTube, actually. So they didn't really figure out like really great ways to tell a lore and story through the world, as opposed to here is your third party member, and then they're going to talk about all this stuff. That's pretty much what I found.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was less than 50. That's like the 40s. Also, though, they save quite a bit of money on labor in terms of salary.
Much cheaper studio to run, but yeah. To be fair, KCD2, which I played for like 10 minutes of, and immediately in the 10 minutes, I was way more immersed in KCD2 than I was in Avowed, because Avowed is definitely like a cookie cutter staple to the ground, like, Avatar game. So when I played Avowed, after like 20, 30 hours, by the time I got to the end, I was like, Avowed is a visual novel with really good Dead Island style combat. Some of the best magic testing in RPG period, I think.
Magic's very good.
Yeah. Go be a mage in this game. You're gonna have a ton of fun. A lot of great area effects, spells. A lot of really cool looking spells. The cooldowns are fast, and you can really build towards that. But it's a visual novel, basically, where you can wander around in a 3D environment and just fight a lot of people and find some cool purple colored loot for your legendary figures.
Let me ask you this, Gene, actually everyone here. This was mentioned, Toxmon mentioned this, that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is less than 50 million. That is the only game that they've made since Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So they work on that franchise, which works well for them, because the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 very good game. Probably going to have, we'll see the rest of the year goes, game of the year or considerations, I'm sure, for many outlets and everything. And it's sold well, 2 million copies. If Avowed could have been, say, on the level of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but Obsidian didn't make anything else in the last 6 years, would people prefer that, or would they prefer Avowed how it is now, but then having the titles that they've released, and then also Outer Worlds 2 later this year?
Well, personally, I didn't like Outer Worlds. When they said, "Oh, Avowed is going to be like Outer Worlds," I did not have high expectations for Avowed. So having played Avowed, I was like, "Oh, this is a lot better." And then as I got through, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like Outer Worlds." It really is. I didn't like Outer. I didn't finish Outer Worlds at all. But I just didn't find the writing or the characters that interesting in the world that interesting too. But that's a great question. I think you need to remember that Obsidian is kind of like the quote-unquote Insomniac of Xbox, in that they've been the most productive and prolific studio since their 2018 acquisition. So this is even before Bethesda and all of them, right? But then they made Outer Worlds, which I think was before the acquisition. But they made Pentiment. They made Grounded is a really good solid foundation for them in the live service space, other multiplayer space, and then of course
20 million players on that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's more than anyone playing multiplayer games for Sony first party, except the Helldivers, obviously. Which Helldivers is second party of 3DO. Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it, because we've talked about this a lot with one of the reasons the Valve discourse is so interesting is I feel like I see a lot of people say that they would prefer budgets to get under control, scope to get under control, even the amount of time it takes for these games to get figured out. And I kind of view Avowed as kind of disproving that a little bit, because when it comes out, and in my mind I go, okay, this does look like that game that probably took them a little more than 4 years to develop after the reboots and stuff, and they didn't have 300, 400 people working on it, and they didn't say, let's take $400 million to do this in 7 years. A lot of the timeline and stuff has been about how the game's missing a lot of stuff that they probably could have done if they went unlimited budget, do all this stuff that's crazy.
For sure, yeah. It probably would be buggy as hell because it's Obsidian, and Bethesda games are obviously not immune to that as well. But obviously, I think Obsidian would have had if they had more time and money. But then we wouldn't have gotten Pentiment, which I haven't played, but I always hear good things that I own it. That doesn't mean we play that. But so Obsidian is good too, and obviously they're not at the quality level that Insomniac has put out. But at least again, in terms of prolificness and the quality of the product they're putting out, they're the most consistent studio filling up Xbox's lineup besides Bethesda, and Bethesda is a full publisher,
Yeah, OJ, I think you were on something about the pricing though. I think if it was like we even technically have room now for $60 games to where it's not $70. It's it's $10 cheaper than the full price, right? They could have done something with the pricing that might have helped, but they were. I mean, it's in Game Pass. That might be the way they're doing it. It's something to to think about as we go along here, because I do think people say that they want all those things, lower scope, faster release cadences and stuff, but then when they're presented with it, they immediately go against that thought. So I would, yeah.
People are always trying to find excuses for playing because, like, you know, here's the thing. I'm posting Starfield videos today on Twitter because I'm triggered by those videos of people running around Skyrim getting cups the next day. And they're like, look at it. Like, Asmongold was watching, you know, sorry for bringing him up, but Asmongold was watching the Skyrim videos and Oblivion videos, and he was under the realization that he's never played these games before. And he was marveling at the fact that Skyrim and Oblivion had like reactive physics way back in like 2000. Oh yeah, like 9 or 2000, like 2012 or 2011. And he was like, "Have I been a dick eater this whole time? Because all I've been doing is playing WoW, and he's never played any other fucking game." You know?
Yeah, but he talks about all of them.
He does, yeah, because he talks about a lot of things that he doesn't really know. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. That's a lot. And it's not just a gaming problem. That's a lot of streamers. A lot of streamers are always talking about shit that they don't really know, but you know, you're just online every day, so you're just gonna talk about shit, you know?
Those are the games where you pick up a bowl for no reason. It is just, you pick up a bowl just to do it. Like, and nothing in the game for you.
I was always encumbered. Like, I'm too heavy. I haven't gotten too much scrap. Like Fallout and stuff like that. Fallout.
That's the thing. I don't mind the idea of the infinite like item bag. I don't mind. I don't the encumbering thing is always going to too.
I always say like a bowl of ramen or whatever they have there. Like I gotta have a cheese wedge. You know, I gotta have all that stuff. I gotta sell it later. You know, I won't get much money for it. I gotta sell it.
But everyone's complaining about Cyberpunk and like, you know, like, oh my god, there's no police system and you can't like knock over anything, you can't like do things and everything. It's like Starfield had all this shit that they want, you know?
It did. It still got corrupted.
Yeah, and everyone fucking hated Starfield anyways, you know? So I
there's a lot of.
Sorry, Joe, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No. Actually, I don't even remember what I was saying. But like, again. Oh, Josie. Oh, my bad.
I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't know.
But yeah, it's just like I don't know what people want from games anymore these days. Like, you know, people are just finding ways to hate on games, and to be fair, and I just said a bunch of shit about Avowed that I don't like either. You know, so like
that's how we normally discuss the game.
I just want a complete experience. I want a game that's fun at the end of the day where I'm happy more than I am angry at it. You know? And I don't think that it's like happening so frequently where I'm like, oh, every game today is crap or anything like that. But I am noticing that I am less willing to play a lot more of these bigger game titles because I do feel a regression. I do feel that there is something that lacks there. And then the waits for what does come out after years and years and years, and it just becomes something that you play and forget about, and it doesn't become this memorable experience that in 10 years I go, wow, I can't wait to play Avowed again. I need to relive these nostalgic memories from you know, and I feel like that's just been something that's not there. I haven't had many games recently that have made me go, this is an experience I'm really enjoying. It's usually something I'm playing and it's forgotten about in a month because we moved on to another.
I like what you said, Jordan, about things like regressing, because like when I was playing Avowed, I was like, why is video game writing getting so much worse these days, honestly, you know? I haven't gotten the space, you know, like the writing just feels like worse and worse and worse, you know?
I haven't gotten the feeling from like a lot of the bigger games in terms of like, if we're just talking like Western games, like there still to me hasn't been anything that's replaced Mass Effect. When I replayed the Mass Effect trilogy, the Legendary Edition, I was like, this is still like my favorites, you know? And I still haven't had a feeling as good as, you know, for a Western title for me as Mass Effect. So yeah, I definitely feel like what, you know, some of the games and some of the games and everything, but you know, we got some games coming out this year. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, like there's Dragon Age Veilguard, and I like Dragon Age Veilguard, but the writing is definitely worse than it used to be. Like absolutely 1,000%.
Yeah, it's not good.
Starfield, I like Starfield a lot. I like it as a game of systems, but the story sucks. The writing was pretty bad there too. You know,
you knock everything off the table.
I feel like there's two things that kind of happen with this. I feel that one is a lot of these games are trying to build worlds with lore and all this, you know, mythos to them, and they don't spend enough time truly letting it be explored and putting it out there and developing actual interesting things to learn about and discover.
and they're also not trusting the audience. They want to. I feel like there's a big like spoon fed, and here's everything, here's this information, and you don't get to discover things. You don't get to learn the story as it comes. You don't get to have character moments that feel natural. It just kind of, I feel like I'm just noticing it more and more with things. And I've seen a couple comments, yeah, maybe I do, maybe I am old, maybe I am jaded about certain things, but I feel like there's just, across all of media right now, whether it be movies or anything, it just, everything is being spoon fed. I feel like nothing lets you just take something in and you feel how you feel about it. It's like, this is the thing, and here's the explanation, and you hate this because this character is bad, and this is why they're bad, instead of understanding something and learning and playing a game and getting it at the end. And I don't know. I'm feeling that too much for too many things. And it's, I'm on my third time in the last couple of weeks playing the Mass Effect trilogy again. I feel like that's a game that lets me just figure it out.
It's still so good. That's what, if you haven't played it, guys, it's super cheap. And I'm telling you, there's nothing else quite like Mass Effect. Like it's pretty timeless. The first one might be a little rough, although it's way better than the original game. The 360 game barely held up, but it was still fun. But yeah, Mass Effect trilogy is awesome. Like a lot of what you said, that's like, I'm not trying to compare, but like Mass Effect has so much of the Renegade, Paragon, a lot of the different things that you can do with the story and the choices and the decisions, and the team members and the loyalty missions, things like that you'd expect, to be in the games. And Mass Effect has all that, and they're awesome. Like the ending sequences for most of the games are really good. And yeah, you just don't get that feeling of amazement with a lot of the newer games. I mean, I get it sometimes. Like for me, Medical Recon Positive, that game was incredible. I'm still in a slump after playing that, but it's very rare. Whereas it seemed like it was more frequent in the days, maybe because developers were trying more things and maybe giving like a rehash of what you've gotten. But every now and then something pops up that I'm like, oh my god, that made me feel a certain way, So yeah, as long as I get at least one or two of those per year, I'm okay. Which I usually get at least one or two of those per year. Where I'm like, okay, yeah, that was really good. Which I guess kind of sucks, right? Because it's like a whole year, but I'm not expecting too much when it comes down to it. Because there's a lot of different types of games,
And there's constantly great games coming out all the time. It's not to say that there isn't. There always is. This year will have plenty of great games across all of genres, any type of genre. So I'm not mad at gaming as a whole. I'm just not dissuaded. I'm not disappointed. I think in the sense there's things that just like that's kind of I'm not into it.
It's cool. I mean, aren't you thinking about the video today for those generation?
I watched that video, yeah, about how the PS5 and the Xbox generation has been boring. It's been boring. It's been truly boring. It really has been boring, the security guard at my local weed dispensary, he's a PlayStation gamer, right? And he's always asking me like, "Gee, where the fuck is Wolverine?" And I was like, well, "I don't know, man. They announced it too soon, right?" And he was like, "I know." And I was like, "But there's a lot of other games." He was like, "I bought the PS5 for Marvel games, Spider-Man and Wolverine." There are people out there who love first party and are just tapped to that, and there's nothing for them. If you're a Naughty Dog fan, you get one game for this generation. That's
what's lacking.
Shit.
Because I played like in the PS3 era. I get it; they can't make as many, but it just seems because of the Sony is just there's a hole because Sony tried the live service thing and it didn't work out. They're backtracking, so we're not getting like maybe we probably should have had at least maybe like 3 or 4 more big first party games in this generation that we didn't have because they're canceling live service left and right. So I think that's kind of like, listen, man, Sony's first party games, there's Sony's first party games, like the PS3 era, Uncharted games, we had Killzone games, we had all sorts. They had SOCOM, they weren't the best SOCOM, but they had SOCOM. They had so much stuff coming up. They had Little Big Planet games in the PS3 era, and like
I miss Little Big Planet,
and that's like all gone. All of
they're so good,
and that filled a lot of gaps, and that like people got passionate about Sony's first party, and PS4 era a little bit. They reduced, but we had Infamous, we had some stuff. But it just seems like Sony's, mistake with with the first party situation really caused this generation to be like a bit for them a bit more lackluster. And then of course Microsoft, I mean they're rebounding now, but it almost feels like, I don't know, maybe this is a bad analogy, like the Yankees, because all they did was just go out and get like the best players, and then they just said, oh, well, now it's on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it almost felt like, okay, well, yeah, that's cool that you got all this first party, but it's just like a bunch of stuff that you buy, you know? And now it's going third party. So it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the same vibe as you get like before the past. Like when you got Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, you got, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of just cool different types of games that they would put out. And it'd be exclusive. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's a vibe thing for me, but I hope, like I said, you'll get some good stuff, you know. That.
What Jordan said earlier kind of struck me because like what we're seeing in terms of like the boredom and like the kind of like this inertia that we're seeing in quality of video games is across entertainment. Like film, like look at the fucking new Captain America movie. You know, like it's done worse than their worst one. You know. All of these entertainment products are now being produced by data. And so much things are driven by data. Like, oh, people like morally gray characters who are hot. So you're just gonna see more of that shit now. You know, you're just gonna see hot characters who are morally gray. Because the Twitter trends say there's a million tweets about blah blah blah, and like we love this character. So we're just gonna fucking remake this character in another form. There's so many unoriginal stories because people are following trends and data versus people following their heart, I guess, you know, like creating something because they thought of something and they believed in it, and then they wanted to create something beautiful as opposed to, oh, people will love this shit, and other people that they loved this shit before, so it's definitely going to do this shit again, you know. That's exactly what happened with the live service trend, right? Like that's the biggest worst example of trend hopping. But then also at like very micro levels in terms of like, oh, this character loves talking about sex because you know, everyone on Twitter is only talking about how horny Baldur's Gate is. You know, they fucking love fucking the bear, right? So we should have more of this shit in there, you know, versus I don't know, making a character that makes sense in the story.
Yeah, I'm going to say something, and I want to be very clear with what I'm saying here. We're right now in an age where there is no artistry, right? But that's not to say that there isn't art, right? There's two different things. There's great products. There's things with passion and soul. Put into every genre, every medium that you can pinpoint that this is great and this artist has passion with this and that's great. There is still that, and there's always going to be that. But for what's publicized, what's out there, who's putting your face as the most mainstream things, is everything is data driven. It's what you sold to you and what you already know and like. So here's more of what you know and like. It's comfort food. Oh, you know you like insert food here, so here's more of that. Here, try it over here. This one has this sauce to try, but it's essentially the same thing. You're not going to get something new in the mainstream sense in a while. You know, I do think there's great art out there. You're going to find it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not happening because there's so many good examples. But right now, the era of artistry is non-existent.
What you said about food got me thinking about Taco Bell. Do you know that Taco Bell now has like annual E3 style presentations for their food?
Like they have like a stage presence and everything.
Like it's a whole like 5-hour presentation. It's longer than the fucking Game Awards.
What's it called? I gotta figure out what I gotta
just look it up. But they announced meat products on the stage, and like all the Taco Bell employees are crammed in the stadium, and they're like, well, today we're gonna announce the cheese of chalupa, you know. And it's just a chalupa with the cheese, like a big ass fucking cheese in it. And then you hear the crowd go, oh my god, it's a brand new product that's going to revolutionize the menu, blah, blah, blah. You know, but yeah, Taco Bell has its own E3. So that's what Taco Bell caught on that video games are like food. And they're like, well, if food are like video games or video games are like food, why can't we just do the same thing video games do and just promote it like a video game? It's an exciting, artful product, you know?
T3 Expo.
Yeah, T3 Expo. Go check out the Taco Bell E3. Go check out the Taco Bell product. It's fun stuff.
And look at what like a place like Taco Bell does, right? They'll introduce, they'll do new stuff here and there all the time, but they'll have something that's a hit and then say, all right, it's going away forever. And then like a year later, all right, the fries are back, right?
Nacho fries.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, what happened with it? McRib, that's the biggest example, guys. The McRib is never happening at McDonald's again. We're done with it. Sorry. 2 years goodbye. you know what, here's the big rib guys, come on, you know, we're gonna sell it right back to you, and now it's even more expensive, and now you really have like it's just anything like
Here's Fortnite season 1 map again, you know?
yeah, and you know, it's just a lot. It's anything you look at. And it's not even just entertainment. It's in fast food.
And we'll, I think you guys mentioned live service stuff. One of the last topics we had was about Jim Ryan and Shuhei Yoshida. That's because Shuhei did a follow-up interview, which was really well done by Last Stand Media, where Colin got to sit down with Shuhei for about 2 hours, and he basically did a lot. He didn't have no original questions, but he certainly followed up with some of the stuff that Shuhei said, because when that got printed and put on headlines and stuff, it sounded kind of crazy, some of the stuff with Jim Ryan. There's no good way to read it. It's like I had no choice. It was either this or leave. So it was either do indie stuff for PlayStation or I'm out. And this is in 2019 when Jim Ryan took
I
over.
told you that dude eats mayonnaise by like a bucket. Y'all, joking, making that dude dead ass eat mayonnaise before work and like at work. Look at what he's doing.
He did it to follow up with Colin, and he still basically said that they created the position for him to work with indies, but they created the position almost out of necessity. It sounded like one, they wanted to strengthen their position with indies, but two, they kind of needed a place for Shuhei because Jim Ryan wanted to make his own team, and it sounded like he wanted to get younger. So here comes Herman Coles, and I'm sure other people that aren't necessarily in headlines or even younger.
That Concord was the next great.
Well,
that guy.
I will say Shuhei did say that he signed off on the prototype, but that seems to be the last thing he did with it. Hard to say if he would have been like, "Oh, this is it. Put all the money we can into this thing. It's going to be incredible." Because he also was someone who, well, to be fair, he didn't like God of War Planes apparently, and that was actually really good. So it's hard to say how Concord may have gone after the fact that Shuhei was there keeping an eye on it as opposed to Herman Coles, but nonetheless, he did give it the initial sign off for the prototype.
All right, well then screw it. No,
it still does sound crazy though in the headlines when he's like, I had no choice. It was either this or leave, and that still doesn't sound great for Shuhei with Jim Ryan. People still, Jim Ryan is on a beach somewhere, unaware of any of this happening, and people are still talking about.
Oh, he's offline. Yeah, he's offline. He's offline.
He does not care whatsoever. He's probably like, screw it, I'm good. I'm hanging out with my grandkids, which is fine. I think he's, despite people, whatever. I think he's earned that. You know, it's not easy being a big CEO. You got to make a lot of big decisions, but I still don't think his decision with the whole live service stuff. Nah, I think I don't care. That's not hindsight. Like I would have never signed up on that.
Interesting you mentioned that, OJ. I want to ask you guys this question, okay? Because that was also brought up, the live service stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, and according to Shuhei, live service was not forced on any of the studios. He believes it was more of a mutual thing, as in the studios and Sony almost had that under. He really was saying, they didn't force it on them. I gotta say that if you hear or the word goes around at the water cooler or the grapevine, it's like, you want your project greenlit.
Yeah.
Put live service somewhere in there and you're off. That's a little extra to get you over the line.
That's what it seems like, because for those who don't know, the process of even getting your game greenlit can be hell. Like Nintendo, they constantly reject damn near everything. And same with Sony, they rejected what? They rejected Resistance. They rejected lots of stuff. And Resistance 4, right? That got rejected. There's probably a bunch of other games that got rejected. So yeah, I have to think that if you say live service, it's much easier because they think there's a big payday at the end of the day for less work, or for not as much as what you'd have to take to do. Maybe not less work, but you don't have to build a whole single player campaign and all that type of stuff. You just do multiplayer.
Yeah, well, I think if it's just because the idea is these Sony studios, they're owned by Sony, but they are supposed to have their own pitches for ideas, and I'm sure a lot of them get turned down. I'm sure, like Touch with Resistance 4, right? Yeah. So if you really like this idea, and you're like, live service, we'll figure it out later. We can do live service after this, and it seems we're all over the place. They have like 12. On top of that, he did talk about the last The Last of Us Online, and he reinforced the fact that they seemed unaware of how much work it was going to be to keep the thing going at Naughty Dog after it was out, and Bungie told them how much work it was going to be, and that's apparently why they decided to scrap what, according to Shuhei, was a very fun game. He said it was great.
Wow, imagining making a fun game and then selling it to people.
I thought about that, like, the co-op game.
Yeah.
Did it have to have all the Division bells, all the bells and whistles with that, where you also go outside and there's other people? You couldn't just make it
That's
like
the
multiplayer to somewhat local.
Oh my god, I got used to the God of War live service today. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was crazy. You know why? Like, everyone was shocked at the God of War live service news. You know why I was not surprised? Why the user interface of God of War Ragnarok? Look at how it's designed. It is designed exactly like a Destiny menu. Look at the loot system: green, purple, yellow. Legendaries. You're getting different. It's exactly like fucking about. It's the same shit.
Yeah. There's always the upgrading like materials.
There's no.
It's all.
God damn, everything was live service, baby.
It's kind of crazy to me, like the statement. It's hard work, and you know, doing so many more for this go. Yeah, of course it's hard. It's a good territory, but if it's good, maybe it's worth it. We could have had something and not. Well, probably because that, you know, chaos is a waste of time. You know.
I mean, yes, it wasn't a stunt.
That's what's like the whole that we're seeing is a Sony-sized first-party hole in the lineup right now for regular games. You know, for good regular first-party Sony games, like an Infamous or something like that, right? Or like a Killzone 2, or the stuff that they had on the PS3. That's what we're feeling right now, because this live service stuff is just. But the one live service game that probably would have done. I mean, they did have Helldivers, which they did, but the one, you know, big like Sony owned first party like ID that they're traditional, like The Last of Us, that one got canceled. That's the crazy thing. That one probably could have even been not as refined as other live service games. It probably still did really well because it's The Last of Us. You know, and they could have just updated it over time.
Well, yeah, you got a TV show coming up in a few months, and they could have an event surrounding around that. And imagine making skins based on the actors, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking, Genius. You have that transmedia thing that the words of Sega and the corporation transmedia stuff, and they could have had, hey, we're going to have characters like you mentioned from the show, in your game, and
get the paper spell skin in the game. You know, like, oh yeah, dude. It really. I feel like, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know the inner workings of any of these companies' businesses, and I could run it better. Anyone knows better. He's an armchair person online. It doesn't matter, right? But I feel like a lot of this is so slam dunk easy to understand and be in tune with what people are looking for, what people would like, and just making sure that the one thing for your video game consoles happens, and that's have some fucking video games come out. I feel like we're in a drought constantly. Although we started the whole new Infamous stuff, and it has 3 games. That was a whole mess for years and years now, where it was ready to go, and you're part of what was it, like the PlayStation 4. It felt like I saw a poster that had a 3 in lightning bolts that was red and blue, and it was particular. It was going to be a whole big announcement. Gone.
Can I have a red button in this real quick? You know how a lot of games have a lot of like cringy Marvel writing, right? Like God of War is trying to be Marvel, you know, obviously Conqueror is trying to be Marvel. I don't understand, and then there's this whole obsession with live service and expanding universes and everything like that, and also having obviously Sony right now is really Sony first party games are really into diversifying. Why Sony did their superhero IP that takes place in different cities, and we're like, hey, and has different protagonists. Yep. I feel like maybe we could create our own Infamous universe. We can have our own diverse cast of characters. No one's gonna fucking complain as long as we have Cole around every once in a while or whatever. And Troy Baker's voicing it or whatever. But you can have diverse protagonists in different cities, right? Or maybe the same city. Who knows? You want to go the Yakuza route. But you have different protagonists you know, all pile them all together after 10 years in one big infamous endgame game.
Could be live service.
Yeah, that could be a live service. You just have a bunch of fucking cool, diverse Asian lady, black woman, black man, you know, fat guy here, like all kinds of like diversity you want as superheroes running around in the city or whatever. You know, I don't understand why
create your own character, you know, completely. It's just that works in the story. You design the person however you want.
Yeah, you can have your own too, but you know, like I just don't understand why they didn't do that. And then they thought, oh well, let's do a historical game based on Japanese samurais, and then we'll just have another one.
It's more
Hold
interesting.
on, I feel like this.
I'm not saying Ghost of Tsushima because Ghost of Tsushima is clearly one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when it comes to IP cost, you know.
It's more interesting they're willing to rely on Marvel with those licensing fees,
Mhm.
and rather than build up their own superhero universe with Infamous, it's very because we saw some of those fees for Spider-Man, and it was astronomical. To the point where Spider-Man 3 might have been two games, I mean, 2 parts, trying to get $100 for that thing.
Yes, I know that things did that in the first light. Why didn't they keep doing that? That's like
Yeah, that was a good DLC for it too.
Yeah, that was a great game. I loved it. I love First Light. Anyway, rant over. I love
Back.
it. So, I love Ghost of Tsushima too, and I'm very excited for Yote. So.
Okay, I got everything there. All right. Did you restart your router again, Josie?
Running all over the house tonight. It's awesome.
Okay.
Super awesome.
The camera's very nice.
Yeah. Thanks. It's a DLSR. I worked really hard and I put Mocha in the background, but for most of it, you can't see it because my camera was loading, but it's okay.
It looks like a very expensive camera. Good job.
It's actually just the less. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good stuff. For all the people here on the podcast, the panel, I do have their links down below. I added Jeans as well and Jordan. So I was going to do them for a minute, get everyone set up. Let's check them out down below. Let's see. SK says, I got 50 hours of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I just got to the wedding. Game of the year. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Casual Gamer asks, "How do you credit Nintendo Life with your background?"
Nintendo Life owns you, Jake.
Shout out to Nintendo Life.
Clayton says, "Good to see OJ here. He keeps it real. I'm here to report that Avowed is a mediocre after 20 hours of plot. Yakuza Pirate Hawaii is fantastic and a perfect starting place for anyone who's never played."
Yo, shout out to the claim, man. He's the homie. Good stuff, man. Good to see you here.
That is good advice too. I can say that Pirate Yakuza is a great place to start. The amnesia angle, they really worked that into making that like, oh, it's the first Yakuza game, no problem. So,
Okay. I do want to play that too. It looks
you should
all
play it.
cool.
I actually gone back to playing it too. It's so fun.
Good stuff. Chief says, put 20 hours into Avowed and was having fun with it. However, the amount of frame drops I encountered in the third area were heavy. Okay, so in the first area, we'll find out about that third area.
Like I said, the game drops off in quality after the second area for sure.
Cash Noob says, the Nintendo Life owns Xenoblade Chronicles X in your background, OJ.
This is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, okay? This is Definitive Edition, all right? Not
I'll
X.
get it switched.
Yeah.
Spyro Jones says, Jordan, since you've been gone, have you played, and what are your point opinions on SpongeBob, Cosmic Shake, Astrobot, or Spyro, and the Dragonfly?
I don't know. I've been playing a lot of just random older things, new things. I don't know. Just all over the place. But I mean, Cosmic Shake, decent. I enjoy it. Astrobot, I haven't had a chance to play it. It's on my back burner, but I do want to actually give that a shot. Inspire into the Dragonfly. Good Spyro representation right there.
Astrobot's great, Jordan, man.
Oh,
So,
I've seen so much on it. I think it looks really cool. I just have no time to
It's like Mario Galaxy 3 almost. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, Josie, you played more than didn't you?
I beat it.
Oh, nice. After FG called you out?
That was unnecessary.
They added more. I just did the speedrun level. They added another one this past week. It was very good.
It's very cute, man. I think you'll like it a lot, Jordan.
Zoot said, Omega says, Jordan, I love your vids, bro. Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Zoot says, Fringe, Shadows, Pirate, Yakuza, or Avowed. So much to play, so little time.
I'm definitely looking forward to Shadows. Because I don't know much about. I feel like there's like a bunch of Yakuza games that I'm like behind on now. But I will probably check those two out first over about personally. But I haven't downloaded.
Super Christian V World says, I got slayed last night. Oops, wrong chat. LMAO. Smiley face at the mouth with a little tear on the top.
Very good show.
SK says, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 combat is realistic good. It's not boring, just cover your eyes and randomly swing your sword to your enemy's dead. I tried that and they murdered me and took my horse.
I started playing KCD 2 and I was cool. I should probably play KCD 1 actually, because I don't know who the fuck Henry is or Hank or whatever. So, let me go back to the beginning and start that.
It was it's a game where it's like fast travel and it just has you look at him walking as a little figure. And then I run into something, and then I end up in the battle, and the person just smacks me and I die. And it's like, I haven't saved for 45 minutes. Great.
And stick. I get a game like that right now for sure.
Grubby says, Metaphor Francio.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Right, I agree.
Thank you.
Great game.
But about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Gene, MBG was explaining to me because he says like 30 hours in, he's figuring it out. He was like, yeah, for like your hunger stuff, you just want to level up your metabolism. It's like, what did you say? I love my metabolism. What?
Look, I'm excited to play KCD 1 and learn how to read, you know? Apparently that's the whole thing you got to do in case you Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So I'm excited how that process happens.
Hey, I'll give it to the developers. They took Immersive Sim seriously. I'll give them that. Dark Requiem says, big publishers are so busy trying to appeal to the modern audience, they don't appeal to the existing one. They make games that appeal to no one.
Again, data. They're trying to appeal to data and not people. You know?
Super Christian Mean World says, one time I had a convo with someone in the comments that Switch isn't delivering great first-party titles with good playtime. Oh, let's say PS5, Xbox this gen. Yeah, the Switch's library is kind of ridiculous after 8 years now. It's hard to compare that at this point. Let's see. Jenna Hayes says, Gene Park, people are saying gaming Easter suits are putting out better quality than the West.
I'm not offended by this. This is okay.
Okay.
We made Summer Blade in EK, you know, so you're people, you know, I'm not people. But yeah, throughout the East Asia, China, Korea, Japan, it's all happening. Those are all your people. I'm all three babies. Who knows? I don't fucking know. I haven't been 21 or whatever, 22 or whatever. 18, whatever the shit is.
Clayton Morris. So Clayton Morris says, yes, Jordan is right. Studios in the 40s and 50s would turn out movies left and right. Casablanca was one of those movies, and Bogart was on to the next film. Make more games.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily like you just keep spamming out games that are underbaked and all that, but you know, there should be more urgency to have like more than like one game from the studio come out in a generation. You know,
You're asking for too much truth.
I'm really not. I really don't.
RGG is only making games fast enough.
It's interesting about them is they reuse a lot of the assets. I don't see people mention that much, but then you get God of War Ragnarok and they reuse the boat animation, and I saw that all over Twitter.
You have to reuse show. You don't give a shit. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Y'all just reuse right? Yeah, y'all just reuse damn near. They reuse everything. They reuse toilet paper. They probably recycle that too.
You know how far that asset reuse goes back. In Infinite Wealth, there's the Animal Crossing minigame, right? So in the Animal Crossing minigame, inside Infinite Wealth, which is a whole 50-hour experience, it's fucking massive, right? Yeah. But then you can get furniture and like your like decorations for your house, right? One of the decorations is splatter of blood, and that's the same splatter of blood texture that was in the very first Yakuza game in PS2.
It's like the Don Doko Island or whatever it's called.
The Doko Island, yeah. They're still using shit from the original games in PS2. They're doing the animations and everything. That same thing.
I don't mind, to be honest. Mass Effect 1 through 3, they reuse animations as well. I mean, they reuse textures and they reuse things. I mean, they upgrade things slightly here and there. They reuse stuff. So as long as the game is good, that's why people don't complain. But
Right,
God
and
of War is really good too. But I think that people expected a little bit more from God of War, considering the time in between the games. I think that's maybe what people were doing. You know,
That is the one thing you're right. RGG games come out rapid fire almost with them, and it's here. People like them. They're fun.
Yeah, and there's no like fatigue like Assassin's Creed where like, oh my god, like slow down Ubisoft, and Ubisoft did slow down and they got worse, you know?
Yeah.
Versus RPG, they're like, oh, we'll just keep making games. And then you just keep buying them. It's fine. And they're all good. You know?
This is for Eliza says, okay, Nintendo Life, shout out to OJ and Hinge the French. Thanks, Liza.
Also, FromSoft is the other studio. 2022, Elden Ring. 2023, Armored Core. Last year, Shadow of the Erdtree. This year, fucking Night Rain. Every year for the last 4 years.
Never use a lot too.
Yeah,
They use a lot of text.
yeah. And
Again,
Night Rain is asset reuse the game, but it's awesome, right?
yep. It's fun. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, no one's complaining about, oh my god, they're using the Centipede Demon again. No, everyone's like, oh fuck, it's this fucking Centipede Demon, yeah.
Right. Christmas says, if you guys hear about the new expansion, Neverwinter Nights, that released yesterday called Doom of Icewind Dale. I did not. Neverwinter Nights, I haven't heard that name in a while.
I know, what the hell?
Robert says, anyone heard anything about HDR support for Switch 2? Nothing's been publicly discussed, but I feel like there will be HDR support, yes.
Good question. Yeah.
Kevin says, FF7, 8, 9, 10 all came out inside 5 years. Peak Final Fantasy. That was a crazy run, though.
We're never going to see that again, ever. That's never happening.
That was mad, especially that jump to 10. That jump to 10 was crazy.
We're just never going to see anything of that quality of jump ever again. I'm glad to have been alive for all of that actually. You know?
Valen says 32 hours into Valve, having a blast. Only issue our lack of a physical copy and can't set custom waypoints on the map.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like something that might end up being on a patch, and so that's a legitimate thing I would actually like to know about. Hey, we want waypoints on the map.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
The waypoints will pop up if you assign a quest, but if you're just trying to do off like find something that you think is interesting on the map, yeah, the waypoint
Pin,
will
drop a pin or something,
Like
yeah.
a little pin drop, yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X is waypoints.
Jared says, what are your most played games? They say Rocket League players. I guess just in general, most played game.
Fortnite.
Yeah, kind of funny. Fortnite, actually, really funny about Fortnite too. See, one of the kids here, it's like, oh, I'll play Fortnite. Let's install it. Okay. So he installs it on Switch. I installed it on the PS5 right here. And I was like, what do you do crossplay with it? All right, let's jump in. So we go into a match, another 100, break, no build. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, no. Zero build is the way to go.
So I'm like, all right, let's go. Won the first thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're a gamer, so you probably